So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys. Fabulous viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. And for those of you guys returning, welcome, welcome. I'm so blessed to be here. And I can't wait to do your reading again today. Today's reading, we're looking at the person on your mind. And we're looking at how you are perceiving the challenge with this person. And what is the actual challenge going on with this person. Okay, so I am issuing a trigger warning only because we like to be right, and maybe you're the problem. No, I'm just kidding. We don't know what the problem is. Okay, we like to be right, and we like to make all sorts of assumptions why someone is acting all weird or irritating or annoying or however they're acting. Okay, there's a challenge going on with this person. So if you have no challenge with this person, then you can carry on with your beautiful day, and hopefully there is a reading that resonates for you in my playlist. For those of you guys who are challenged with someone and you aren't sure whether your perception is accurate or not, or you'd like more insight in regards to what's actually going on with this person, then this reading will be for you. Okay, this is a pick a card reading, meaning you'll pick an item here from these four wands, and then we will tap into the connection with the person on your mind, looking at them from your perspective versus what is actually going on with this person and what might be challenging them. Okay, so we're using the Enneagram Oracle cards today for this reading, which will be the Love Oracle, the Mystical Oracle, and the General Oracle. We'll also be using the Blind Spot Oracle cards. Okay, and for the Tarot, we'll be using the Wild Unknown. So, not very many cards, but hopefully we can get to the bottom of what's going on. Okay, so for the four options here, we have the Fluorite Wand. And for the life of me, I couldn't think of the name of this wand. I had to Google it, and I've had it forever. I don't know. Wouldn't come to me. Then we have the Crazy Agate Wand. Okay. And then we have the Shungite Wand. And then we have the Chakra Wand. Okay. Four options. Let's sit with these four. It's absolutely okay if the energy comes flipped or reversed. That's common here. And meaning it's going to be your energy. Sounding a lot like coming from your person's perspective regarding you, your issues, and what's actually going on with you. Okay, so maybe we're blessed and we'll see that aspect. It might give you some insight, but I am intending on it being your person, the person you came here about. Okay, but my intentions don't mean anything. Spirit will drive through with whatever you're needing to hear, and I will channel whatever pulls through these cards. So I will see you guys at your pick. Hi, gorgeous angels. Pile number one, you picked the Fluorite Wand. Gorgeous. Let's get into your reading, shall we? So you might want to skip ahead if this takes too long for you, but I will be pulling the cards here. Okay, and we'll be asking Spirit for a clear and concise message regarding pile one and how it is that they perceive their person. What is the challenge and how is it that pile number one is perceiving this person? Oops, one fell. Hang on. It's not feeling right and it fell face down, so I'm not going to take it just the way it fell, but let's keep going. Spirit, for pile number one, the way that they perceive the person on their mind, the person they came here about, how are they perceiving this person and what seems to be the challenge according to pile one? Now, if this doesn't resonate for you, it might not be your pile. Okay, keep in mind it could come reversed and flipped, meaning this is your own energy. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we have luxury showing up. So one more. For pile 1, the person on their mind. That one. Okay, let's move these over and let's keep the tarot here. Let's pull a blind spot oracle for pile 1, the connection they came here about. How are they seeing the person on their mind in regards to what they think might be the biggest challenge in regards to this person that they're dealing with? The positive. Okay. And you have rose-colored glasses on right now? Maybe. Okay, we'll pull tarot shortly, okay? Let's just see what we have here. So we have security, 69, relationship trap, stress level, effective security, assurance, shelter, survival guarantee, and family stability. Number 6, type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. And we have 53 with the number 8, sin, ego level, lust, sleeping around, debauchery, libertinism, pornography, sexual pleasures, taking advantage of. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. So 2 different energies. Interesting. Okay, we have 53 with luxury, number 8 again. 8 is the strength card in the tarot. Okay, 88 is a master number, a higher calling that is grounded in self-awareness and reverence for life. So it says libertarianism again. Okay, depravity, excess, seduction without respect and exploiting others. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Very similar energies here. Okay, I see what's going on here. Identity, quest for answers, 30. Authentic relationships, understanding failure, self-image, social roles, true motivations, importance of success. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearing and authenticity with the solar plexus energy. And we have more solar plexus, mystical experience, 90, growth level, resurrection, salvation and redemption, victory over death, spiritual grace, total harmony, profound peace, hope for eternal life. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting one's self. And we have 86, the number 5, mystical experience, growth level, revelations, expansion of consciousness, duality, transcendence, prophecy, mental clarity, universal knowledge, increased understanding. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior. And finally, we have virtue, 93, growth level, sincerity, authenticity, honesty, truth, veracity, integrity, and directness. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. Okay. So this energy is coming through very strong. Let me get signs out of the way and I'll tap into this energy first. Okay. Before I begin to channel here. Okay. So for signs, we have Capricorn, Gemini, Leo, Aquarius, Virgo, Cancer, Taurus, and Libra. And yeah, so quite a bit of signs here. This is a very specific message, specific pile here. You pretty much feel like your person's a man whore. Can I say that? I'm in a funny mood. Okay, if it's not a man whore, then it's a woman whore. Okay, can I say that? YouTube overlords, am I being demonetized? There, you happy now? So, it's just not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling at all here, okay? I think you want this person to become conscious of their actions. This person seems like, you know, like dating around, sleeping around. It's all like fun and games. It's all this like egoic, lusty energy, and it's coming from their ego. Okay, now when we say ego, we don't get so super confused that it's like this arrogance, although this person might be highly arrogant for sure. But the ego is an identity we create. And so you feel like this person's created an identity in regards to themselves so that they could feel better about themselves shallowly. Am I saying that right? Yeah, like a shallow action that they're doing here. And you're really wanting this person to become honest and authentic with what they want and what's truly deepening and meaningful in their life. You know, that this person, it will somehow eventually see the light or grow out of this thing, and then step in line. And you're thinking that this person does want some form of security, does want some form of stability, does, like they're yearning for something, but they're going about it the wrong way. It's kind of what it feels like here to you. Okay. And that this person, like their intention and their desire to be maybe like loved or accepted or approved or experience something is like the intention's in a good place, but they're going about it in the wrong way, like severely, you know? And so you're seeing this. And so I don't know if this is someone you were with or have blocked off, or this is how they were when they were around you, or a crush, or someone that you're observing, because I don't know if you'd want to involve yourself with someone like this. I feel like probably not, because someone like this seems to, I don't know, it's saying like have orgies. Can I say that? I don't know. 69's coming through again. Okay, 5353 might be an angel number here. This is very odd that both these 53s would come up from two different decks. That's very, very odd, because look how many cards are in these decks, okay? Like these decks come with a whole crap load of cards. So 5353. Put it in the comments there, because I'll be very curious to know what's going on with the shenanigans here, okay? But those are 8s. And like I said, 88's a master number, a higher calling that is grounded in self-awareness and reverence for life. So it's like this person gets their thrills. They're living when they're like acting sort of recklessly here for thrills and fills. And there's a higher calling for this person when they come into some form of expanded consciousness that seems to be taking its time, or you think this person might be born again, you know? Might I don't know, like change all of a sudden, and then somehow this connection might change, or they might start to look at themselves differently, and then therefore they might offer some form of security or stability, or then when they want to slow down, they'll offer some sort of perspective in regards to wanting to settle down, or a family, or some assurance here. But there's nothing here right now, because you feel like this person truly believes that they're needing this in their world, okay, and that they're not really needing this, that there is a beautiful side of this person that it doesn't need to stoop, or I don't know, I call it stooping because it seems very shallow, and it seems very superficial, and it seems very just like immediate gratification and pleasing self in the fun times here, okay, and overdoing it, okay, like it really is overdoing it. So if it's not sex so much, it's like they have a lot of like shallow partnerships, like a bunch of friends and like a bunch of like things here that's just like, you know, it seems pleasurable, but it's very shallow, and it might be making this person feel kind of not good about themselves, you know? It might even make this person feel somewhat depressed in some way here, but it's like they have I don't know, maybe they've always been a player, or they've always been popular, or they've always been the, you know, the Don Juan, something like this that they're trying to upkeep. And so they have this image to portray, and this is what they're doing. And it's like, yeah, they're lacking integrity when it comes to themselves, because they're sort of giving into this energy. Alrighty, well, let's just wrap this up with the tarot, and then we'll look at what the actual issue is. But be sure, if you're seeing this, that this might be, it might just elaborate on top of, you know, why, because this seems kind of really surface. I mean, it's surface, but it's very straightforward. Like if this person is like creating some form of sexual pleasures, yeah, look at this devil. Like I couldn't make this shit up, you guys. Capricorn energy. Okay, so lusty, and it's like holding them back from being able to have a secure connection, you know? Feels like not good. The Fool in reverse, Aquarius energy. So 2 majors. It's like this person is also being very foolish, according to you, you know? That they need to grow up and grow out of this thing, and that they're I don't know. Do they have like a sex addict or a sex addiction? Look at this, is falling sideways too. Mother of Wands. So we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. I'm going to pull these back. So yeah, like maybe you were in a third party with this person, you know, Queen of Wands could represent the third party, but it doesn't have to always be. Okay. Yeah, I don't like that this energy, how this energy feels, you know. You might feel used. You might feel like this person didn't provide any security. Like you have to protect yourself from this person's lusty ways. And maybe this person was like, I don't know, lusting after you. And it's like, it seems like an energy, like quick fix and gotta sort of get it on. And maybe this is just what you experienced with them, like about you and the connection, you know? I don't know, like if it wasn't like a whole gaggle of people here, it's like it was just sex and it was just like this physical thing and it was just like superficial and it was just like get good times whenever we could hit it and quit it. Like I'm out of this energy now. Okay. I don't like it. And it's going away now. Bye-bye. So we're going to look at what's the actual issue going on here. Okay. Maybe why they're like this, because I mean, you're obviously not seeing things, you know, unless you're Delulu, but to look how big these piles are. And so I'm really challenging Spirit here to show us like what's going on here, spirits, with this person, like what's the actual challenge with pile number one's person here, who's recklessly just throwing caution to the wind. So let's see. Pile number one's person, what is the actual major challenge here and going on with this person? What is actually their problem? Okay. Spirits, objectively, pile number one's person, what's the challenge? What's the main issue going on here? Thank you, Spirit, for this message. I feel it's that one. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of beautiful pile number one. Did I call you pile three? I don't know what's going on. Weird. Clear and concise message. Thank you so much. Please help me to channel this message in a way that pile one will understand. Please protect me and the viewer and this connection as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number one. Spirit, thank you so much. And thank you so much, pile number one, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing this reading for you. I just heard suffer fools. Suffer fools. You have to suffer fools. What is that, Spirit? Okay, let's see. That's totally just drained me, you guys, and I'm only a pile one. So, healthy love, 108. Unconditional love, love without expectations, love for no reason, absolute love, pure love, full acceptance, love without reserve. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself, number 9. Okay, I already sort of, I'm picking up some energy here. Delay, 18, temporality. Okay, number 9. 2 9s here. 99 is a master number. Being the change you wish to see in helping humanity to release what no longer works. Delay, procrastination, afterwards, later on, waiting, patience, postponed. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. A lot of solar plexus energy. And we have 73. 1, loss of meaning, intense self-criticism, feeling of futility, exhaustion, extreme shame, anger, resurgence, deep dissatisfaction with dark night of the soul. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. 1. All right. Divine love. Interesting. Look, unconditional love, divine love. 92. Number 2 here. Mystical union. Acceptance to receive. Unconditional love. Self-esteem, pure altruism, universal empathy, personal well-being. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. We have root chakra here. All right. Heart chakra. 34, or the number 7. Defense mechanism. Ego level. It says rationalization, logical justification, explanation, reasoning, idolization, sublimation, intellectualization. Type 7, enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. And we have 53 with luxury again, same card you got, and you guys saw me shuffle this one. Okay, libertarianism, depravity, excess, seduction, without respect, exploiting others. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Okie dokie smoky. So that 53 keeps coming through very strong. And we have avoidance, 18, moon energy. Okie dokie, more 9s as well. Yeah, 999 here now. And running away from emotion, 34. Number 7, which we have over here. Okie dokie. Before we do the tarot, let me tap into this, okay? Okay. Beautiful angel. You're seeing the problem, you know? But deeper than that, Spirit's coming through with maybe the wise, which, I mean, you probably suspected the wise, but you're really just saying, you know, what you're seeing. And you're seeing somebody who's like really just in the physical and giving away something that should be very like treasured, you know, their self-respect. This person is learning about divine love and unconditional love. And the way we cultivate that is by loving self. Right now, this person is feeling extreme shame for their actions. There's something going on in their subconscious with this moon, and it's creating this response, this reaction of how they engage in connection. They're really, really running away from feelings like love feelings, you know, so they engage in physical. It's all about the physical, and they could disconnect the two or not match the two in some way. And so what's going on here? Look, we have 1818, by the way, 2 moon energies. So yeah, the subconscious is really pulling through, and the fear of emotions, because this person has a challenge receiving love from themselves and from other people. And so we don't become just like secluded and live on a mountain and say, well, I might as well just suffer. We still need to bond and connect. And so shallowly, I don't know, I keep having a hard time saying this, shallowly. Is that even a word? Shallowly, this person goes and acts in certain ways here to scratch the itch, fill the void, fill the hole, you know, pun intended. And what's happening here is like, it's making them feel worse about themselves. This person's tired, and I feel like this person's about to hit some form of wall, you know, because this isn't fulfilling, obviously. And this person's life lesson here, or spiritual lesson, or soul lesson at this time, is all about learning about unconditional love of self and a sacred union type love, you know, being empathetic with themselves and whatever's happened to them in the past. This person really fears like connecting with others on a deep emotional level. This could definitely be, you know, an avoidant type attachment style that's developed due to a childhood that was abusive, or it could have been sexually abusive, could have just been emotionally abusive, could have been neglectful. There's all sorts of reasons why somebody would do this, you know. This is very strong energy here, and it's being my first pile here. It's taking a lot, but what's going on here may be something you're not really understanding or seeing, okay? As I feel like there is this inner knowing on some level that this person would have to stop running and avoiding, and they're dragging their feet. And it's like, I don't know if this person's getting to the age where they're just like, you know, they're gonna have to address this, or just the pain is too bad or something. But this delay and this procrastination, it's like understanding that something must change and that things will eventually have to get looked at. And there is this need for this person to like look at themselves from the eyes of acceptance. And as long as they look at themselves from anger and from shame and from looking at what they did as this being like, you know, not good, then they shut down, or they try to like block out any of those emotions because it doesn't feel good. And so it's kind of like perpetuating this state of shame. And so I feel like this person doesn't respect themselves. They're certainly, if they can't respect themselves, they can't respect the people that they're engaged with here, but it's not about those people and that they're like, oh, I'm better than you and I'm going to like use you and make you feel like crap. It's kind of like, I can't see beyond my level. And so then therefore that's as high as I can like, instill value and like in love and in like human connection. And so that's the height of it. So I can't value something more, like than the capacity in which I could value myself. And so it's very sad here, very sad. And there's this like, it's kind of giving me twofold. Like there's a need to accept and come from a position of grace and empathy and, like I said, acceptance, love. Okay, but I feel like there is this mind story that they attach themselves to where they're justifying this behavior, but they're actually not accepting it. And so it's kind of like a seven swords and denial energy, because it's telling themselves, and they might say this to you, like justifying this energy that they're in and like making reasons that's like, well, I am single, or I'm not looking to settle down, or I don't know, like whatever the word speak is here, it is sounding like it's making sense to them, or like you think that they really buy into why they're saying it, but they really don't. Like they might think it on the surface, but inside them, like their inner energy here doesn't buy it one bit, because inside this person lacks respect for themselves. Inside this person hasn't fully accepted themselves. There's a need for full acceptance. Also, I think this person has done a lot of things that they haven't fully accepted already, like that they've already done. And it's like they can't accept the fact that, I don't know, it's like too shameful to look at, to admit that that's them, but yet they keep engaging in this. So I feel like this person could add a lot of confusion into your world and uncertainty in regards to, like if you know that there's true love and feelings here and you're bonding with this person, but yet they're all confused and they're all like engaged in this way, this could be mass confusion. And it's like, when will this person, and this was coming strong from your energy, because there was like, eventually, this person will sort of come into consciousness, see the lights and see the value. And it's like, they know this, like this delay is like, the time is coming. And like how long will this take? Like, I don't know. It's very frustrating. Dark night of the soul is where we shed all of these egoic beliefs. And there's that identity that they've created about themselves, the one that doesn't know how to connect and runs away and is not worthy of divine love. And everyone is worthy of it. So this person needs to work on self-esteem, feeling safe, feeling secure. So there is a lot of trauma in the root chakra, Oh boy. Pile number one. Let's take a look at this person's energy with the tarot. Then what more do we need to know about, and what is this actual person's issues here? Like, can we take a look at this delay? So we have Virgo, Cancer, Gemini, and Pisces, Leo. Yeah. Alrighty. Daughter of Cups, Page of Cups. Yeah, like they're stunted in their emotional body, and I feel like it's like at a very young age. Like the Page of Cups is like, it's not even an adolescent, that's the night energy. Pages are like children. This person is like stunted emotionally here at a level of like a child in some capacity, very disconnected. Okay. And then there's the Fool coming out again. This time it's in the upright. So this is a very childlike energy with the Fool too. Maybe it's a very, very, very young soul here as well, not emotionally developed, a young soul, quite foolish. Isn't really regarding the consequences. In the shadow attribute of the Fool, it could quite literally be very, very foolish and like throwing caution to the wind and like all these like very deep, meaningful things that are very, that have a lot of meaning. And it's like, throwing caution to the wind, like it's meaningless in some way, you know? It's very sad. I don't know what to say. Okay, so 7 Pentacles and the Empress, Taurus, Libra energy, and bottom of the deck is the Ace of Swords. This person is coming into some need for truth and authenticity, which means the false self, the identity has to fall away. Through pain, through suffering, through a dark night of the soul, through this experience, as painful as it is, okay, new beginning. This person is, we saw it in your card, it was like the resurrection, I think it was, or whatever, being reborn. Okay, being reborn. And the biggest lesson here is about self-love, self-worth, self-esteem, boundaries, self-respect, knowing how to give and receive love, connecting to the abundance of the heart space here, unconditional love. This is what this person is having to foster and invest in here. And I feel like this person, with all this moonlight, is having to navigate and see clearly and speak truths and be honest with themselves about what they've done, what that actually means, and that isn't an indicator of who they are, but an experience of what they've had. And so this person might buy into the fact that they are this like horrible person or shameful person, and that's their essence, you know, but we're not our actions. And this doesn't mean we can't own up to the actions we've done, you know, but we're not our actions. That doesn't make who we are at all. And so, I don't know, I feel like maybe for some of you guys, maybe I'm talking to someone here that this is their energy, you know? It's like your action is something that you could be conscious of, but when we're really traumatized, hurt, and when we really can't connect to that part of ourselves, we're acting out of trauma. And so that's not this person. This person still needs to see clearly. And I feel like this is the only way that this person is going to heal this thing about them so that their actions change. And they're due for a new beginning here. The Tower in reverse. So when we're seeing the lightning here, it's like there's going to be a moment here, okay? I don't know if it's a big scare, a sudden realization, something that falls through, but I do feel like there is this sudden switch. So I don't feel like, even if they've been in this energy for a very long time, I don't feel like it's going to be a gradual getting better. I feel like once it switches, you know? I don't know how long, but this could definitely be symbolizing, for me, fall, winter time. Okay. So here in Northern Hemisphere, we're still in summer. So I don't know, something about the fall is coming through. And so there might be a sudden realization or sudden acceptance or a sudden truth that this person finally sees. But right now it's like trying to delay, trying to avoid the tower falling, accepting this, because then they'll have to acknowledge all their actions and all of this stuff, you know? So it's easier for us to avoid, dismiss, deny, suppress, rationalize it all away, because the fear is too great to see this thing. And then we just keep doing the same thing foolishly without regard for consequences. And emotionally, we're just acting like a little child, like, you know, children do things without thinking of the consequences. This is what it is. Alrighty then. I'm sorry, pile one. What a challenging reading. Not everyone's reading for sure, okay? So I don't know what to tell you, but if you're drawn to another pile, then I'll see you there. I love you guys very much. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with someone here who's like in this sort of state, because it's not easy. It's not easy for them. It's not easy for you. It's not easy for people that they're involved with. It seems like a young soul, someone who has a lot of learning to do, and someone who's created a lot of pain for themselves and for you. So pile one, that's your reading. I hope it helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous. Pile number 2, you guys picked the Crazy Lace Agate, and I'm actually recording the next day, which I never do. I always record my readings in one sitting, but I don't know. I couldn't continue after one, so we're going to do taking a look at the person on your mind and how it is you perceive this person to be problematic, or what you think their biggest challenge is, or their obstacle getting in the way of themselves or this connection. And then we'll take a look at what's actually going on with this person, the objective look at the energy with that person in regards to what the big challenge could be with that person, okay? So we're going to look at your perspective first. And if this doesn't make sense with how you see this person, then this most likely isn't your pile, okay? And sometimes we tap into our own energy. So it could definitely be, a reverse pile, meaning how the person on your mind might be perceiving you as being challenged and what the obstacle is, okay? So keep an open mind as to what pulls through, but if it doesn't resonate on any sort of context, then it's not your pile. So spirit for pile, wow, 3 clearly coming out. For pile number 2, how is it that pile 2 is currently seeing the person on their mind in regards to what might be troubling this person or the biggest challenge that pulls through in this connection when it comes to pile number 2's person on their mind and how they see them? According to pile 2, what's the biggest obstacle, challenge in regards to the person that they're dealing with? Spirits, please help me to channel this message in a clear and concise way that pile 2 will understand. Please protect me in this connection as I challenge this message. Thank you so much. Channel. Did I just say challenge? Oh my goodness. I challenge this message. I think that's what I said. Interesting. Pile 2. The way they're seeing their person at this time in regards to the biggest obstacle, challenge with their person. According to pile 2. This one and this one. Okay. And then we have the tarot. Sorry, wow, slamming things. This is an interesting reading already. Let's take a look. So we have control 16. Now, I don't remember anything from yesterday's reading. I just know it was highly weird. Okay, so I think this might have came out, I don't know, feeling very much like it did. But anyway, if you're drawn to one, then it could be a sign for you. But this is tower energy. Okay, we have control and we have meaning. Number 7. 2 sevens, 7, 7, trust the fallen adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life and trust of self. That's the master number and what it means. Okay, 7 is Cancer energy and tower, like we mentioned. 7 is all about faith, wisdom, reflection, and understanding. 7 is spirituality, intellect, personal growth, solitude. Okay, it's the metaphysics. So we have control and meaning. And then we have, I don't know how to say this, okay? Chikariri. I'm not quite sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Okay, number 5 or 41. Okay, this came out for a reading not too long ago as well. Let me grab the book here for you guys and an idea, because you don't see this word often come up, and I'm not going to read the whole page, but just the highlights here. So we have, if you have drawn the sigil, the extremely positive attitude or behavior you are showing towards something suggests you feel you lack or fear you lack a trait you deeply desire. When you fear you lack something, instead of becoming aware that you feel that you lack within yourself, and instead of overcompensating in other areas, you overdo it in that area of deficiency. For example, you may be socially anxious, but you overcompensate by acting overly socially confident. Or if a person fears that deep down they are prejudiced and therefore lack perceived goodness of character, they will often go out to extreme lengths to prove their generosity and and positive attitude. Okay. So a form of like inauthenticity here. It says, what would be so bad about lacking the thing that you... Why am I having a hard time reading? What would be so bad about lacking that thing for you personally? Now is the time to face that lack, which you are using chicanery to try to prove doesn't exist. Interesting. Okay, let's keep going. This will become clear once I start to channel. All my cards are falling around. Everything feels very chaotic right now. All right, Linda, simmer down. 29, number 2, defense mechanism, egoic level, discharge, awareness, refusal. Awareness, refusal. Yeah, we're not seeing something here. Well, not you specifically, but self-forgetfulness, inhibition, self-censorship, needs suppression, unconscious prohibition. Type 2, the helper emotional center between giving and receiving. Root chakra, we have 44. This is a master number. Integrity is a foundation, treating the earth as home and a temple. Manifestation, leadership. It's also the number 8. Okay, so pilgrimage, physical cleansing, active meditation, martial arts, dynamic yoga, initiatory journey, and mindful breathing. Type 8, the challenger instinctive center between strength and weakness. And we have the mistake, 64, the number 1, initiatory ordeal, unforeseen situation, being wrong, corruption, shaken beliefs, loss of control. Path of forgiveness, type 1, the perfectionist instinctive center between control and letting go. All right, and then we have the distance with relationship trap, 68, or the number 5. Preserving your own space, fear of intrusion, withdrawal, staying away. Personal protection, keep at arm's length. Type 5, the observer thinking center between interior and exterior. Okay, and then we have the 82, or the number 1, with happy event, growth level, marriage, holy matrimony, ceremony, wedding, wedlock, sacred union, official commitment. Type 1, the perfectionist, it's instinctive center between control and letting go. I don't know if this came out for pile 1 as well. Not sure, but there's a lot of cards here, and if it did, then that's quite coincidental. Okay, happy event, 84, growth level, success, achievement, happy event, luck, winning, prosperity, and good fortune. Type 3, the achiever emotional center between appearance and authenticity. That's the number 3. And then we have strength, and number 8. Okay, coming through again. So 88 is a master number, a higher calling that is grounded in self-awareness and reverence for life. Okay, so strength, straight talk, vitality, fight, power, control. Coming through again, courage. Type 8, the challenger instinctive center between strength and weakness. Okie dokie. I'm going to tap into this energy and see what we see here, okay? Yeah, see what we see. Okay. Okay, pile number 2. Let's get some signs here, okay? And we'll get some more with the tarot. But we have Cancer, Taurus, Sagittarius, strong Leo, Pisces, Gemini, and Virgo coming through this pile so far. Okay, so don't read the words literally here, but it's the energy overall that I'm channeling and how you're seeing this person. I feel like you see this person as being under their own illusion, that they really feel as though whatever they're doing right now in their world is out of their own sort of conscious decision and choices, and that they're sort of choosing this out of courage and strength and consciousness in some way, that they're aware of these decisions of how they're leading their life. And I am getting an energy here of not confronting maybe what it is that they're needing to sort of look at or deal with in their life, which could definitely be the fears of intimacy, or the fears of connecting, or the fears of going where they haven't explored before. And why would be because this person is, well, there's fear definitely. So maybe they were stunted or hurt, or just they want to stick to what they know out of comfort and out of some sort of desire to stay in the familiar. Okay, but this is like them not being balanced. And so let's say, for example, okay, you'll have to apply it to your situation. It's like, let's say if this person really is like fearing a relationship or connections, is like this person keeps busy with a whole bunch of different people. And it's like, what do you mean that I'm not bonding or social or connecting? But all these friends I have, but it's like under their thumb of control, because being with a bunch of people doesn't call you into deep levels of intimacy that you would on, like, let's say, a one-on-one. So I feel like this person really, according to you, wants control of their world, so much so at the refusal of a deeper meaning and value, and that they're convincing themselves that this is enough, or it's okay, or it's working for them. And so it's like you see that this person is making a mistake, okay, quote unquote, but it's like missing out. It's like not being fully fulfilled. It's at the expense of going deep. It's at the expense of this connection particularly, or maybe possibly. But whatever this is, it's like this person might have a challenging time like fully committing themselves and having the courage to commit themselves. And so they might see themselves as somebody here who, again, is doing this choice of not committing, and that it is like more courageous for them not to settle down, or for them to actively sort of live the role that they're living here, and that they're trying to prove something. And that this part of their world is sort of like an exploration, uncovering things about themselves here that, I don't know, like maybe you feel like they're needing to come to this conclusion or understanding on their own, but that they're holding themselves back from particularly the fears that they have in this connection, maybe commitment, maybe going deep, maybe exploring parts of, like the actual facing the fear head on. And so they're fulfilling themselves in a roundabout way. And the roundabout way, according to you, they convince themselves that it's like fully fulfilling, or that it's scratching the itch. That's, I always say, it's like doing the thing that, we couldn't convince this person otherwise, because they're like, what are you saying? What do you mean? Like, I'm getting this fulfillment, or I am doing this, meanwhile, they're holding themselves back. Meanwhile, it's like all about this person's need for control, because there's something really strong coming through about this person feeling like if they were to explore the unknown, they'd be out of control, and someone else's sort of, someone else's under someone else's thumb, And so there is a lot of ego coming through, and an identity that's created that this person is fulfilling, like an image to upkeep, to portray of themselves out into the world here. And so they keep people at a distance. And that this person, yeah, like it's been through a past disappointment, or a past pain, a past hurt that has instilled this belief and this way of being with this person that now they're justifying. And it's like everything that they're experiencing is like more proof why they need to sort of stay in that world. It's like, look, it's working for me. You know what I mean? And so they're overdoing it, and overly like proving it to themselves that it's enough, and this is good, and that's the choice that they made is right, and it's aligned. And more so than looking at, well, I could be definitely feeling lonely, or I could be giving up something that could be very sacred and holy and special here, like this official commitment to this connection, but that would require a different part of me. And so there's like an opportunity that's sitting here on the table that could be manifested. But there's something coming through about this person's speak. Okay, now I say speak. It doesn't necessarily have to be words. It's like an output of energy. So in way of action, or in way of words, or in way of energetically how they're supporting or confirming that the decisions that they are making are aligned and are exactly what they're intending it to be. And so it must be right, and it must be for them, and it must be like this, but it's just convincing themselves and avoidance and you really see that this person is struggling with themselves and holding themselves back from maybe enjoying the deepest parts that are satisfying, that could be satisfying for them. And they're struggling with this held backness because it's taking a lot of energy and effort, but they don't see that it's taking a lot of energy and effort that might be really sort of getting to this person, you know? Yeah. And that this person could definitely like pull away, avoid, hold back, withdraw, stay away, take periods of pause, isolate themselves. And then it's like this person puts on a face that's like, I have no restriction. I don't have any fear, or I'm not under anyone's, I don't know, like nothing controls me, nothing scares me, nothing fears me. Meanwhile, what they're doing is really is like everything they are doing is out of a fear. Everything they are doing by being held back is actually them being under the control of the fear. But they want the autonomy, they want the freedom, they want the power, they want the ability to say, I am the one controlling in these decisions. But it's like, are you really? And so I feel like this is creating distance between you and this person because it's like this person can't fess up to it or see beyond their nose, you know? And this person's telling themselves somehow that it's good for them to not be fully open or exposed. Like they need to suppress themselves more, or that they are open and sharing and that they are see-through and transparent, you know? That what you see is what you get, and there's nothing hidden, and I'm brave like this. Like, you know, yeah, you know, because this is what you're seeing. Okay, so that's fascinating. Well, let's take a look now then to see what's actually going on energetically with this person in regards to their actual challenge that Spirit is saying. What's this person's problem? Okay, I'll use problem loosely, but it is an obstacle, something that could definitely be slowing us down, creating suffering, or it could be a indifference going on in this connection that isn't quite understood, because there's one understanding that someone might have that another person sees in a complete different way. And this is why I'm doing this reading. So, oh, geez, we didn't even do the tarot. I do feel like we're going to do the tarot, okay? Because we're not completely complete until we do the tarot. So, pile number 2, how they see their person. Can we dive into that energy I just tapped into? 5 Pentacles, scarcity, left out in the cold. So this person experiences being left out in the cold and then convinces themselves that it's the capacity in which is their environment. But I feel like you're seeing them as out in the cold, and maybe they're saying it's like the most beautiful light, you know? Because I don't know that this person would complain, and I don't think they would. They're not saying, why am I left out in the cold? I feel like they're just experiencing being left out in the cold and then telling themselves it's like, I don't know, the best thing ever. Magician, Virgo, Gemini. So that's all about manifesting. And there's another 1 again. Okay, so we're feeling that with the 1s here was this magician energy. 1's all about new beginnings and potential opportunities. Like there's a potential opportunity for this person to have a new beginning. And instead of having a new beginning, they're like squandering their energy somehow here in a 5 Pentacle. 10 Wands in reverse. So that could be feeling overwhelmed to the point where we can't carry on no more. There might be a need for this person to actually surrender rather than like fight and like have something to prove and like carry it uphill. It's like, I'm going to prove and carry it uphill. But the longer I do this, the more I'm sitting in a 5 Pentacle instead of just coming out of the cold and enjoying what could be by manifesting a new beginning. I'm like carrying this heavy weight, trying to prove something. Okay, 5 Pentacle. The Fool, Aquarius energy, the Page of Swords in reverse, the Ace of Swords. Look at the Sword of Truth here. And we have the shadow with the dark and the light. Interesting. And why do we have this 10 wands in reverse here? Pile number 2's person, and how does pile number 2 observe this person's challenge? Justice. And the tower, and under the tower, the 7 swords in reverse. Not surprised to see 7 swords here. So, yeah, you think at some point reality is going to slap this person upside the head. If we've never experienced something joyous, deep, profound, it's like we think that the best thing we could get is what we've experienced. And it's like this person is experiencing some form of lack in their world out of a choosing of that without actually knowing and being honest with themselves. And that when they're finally truthful or want to come out of this energy that seems very heavy to carry. Like I said, it takes a lot of energy to have to prove something here. It's like they're going to be slapped with the reality here that what they were doing was something that was inflicting this upon themselves, and that they have the power to become truthful and honest and to, you know, like move in this direction, to manifest from authenticity, to speak their truth. But they might be choosing to stay in the illusion or the lie that it seems almost heavier and more threatening for them overall in this environment, and that the truth will prevail, and that eventually this person could find some form of balance within their own world and within this connection. We're seeing the dark and the light again. So I do feel there's a lot about this need to integrate the shadow part of self by a form of surrender and admittance of sorts, you know, admit the truth. And that this person, this is kind of an interesting energy to explain, because the Fool you would think would be fearless. And so this person's giving off this fearless type energy. But is it really fearless? Or is it an energy here that's just foolish? Because this person isn't really understanding where their actions are actually coming from, and they're sort of exploring their world from a place of it's an overcompensation of the fact that this person isn't throwing caution to the wind around like being intimate and like bonding in a way. It's like very cautious and controlled. And so the other aspect of the world is being like extra open and doing like these foolish things because there's no consideration here. And it could be like foolish things. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, you know, like just, it's not going anywhere. It's kind of all over the place. And it's like, look at me, I'm free. Look at me, I have no hang-ups. I have nothing that's getting in my way. I'm not like bound by anything. I just go wherever the wind takes me, except I can't go to a certain place. That's the fear lingers. And so I'm really avoiding and compensating in this world, foolishly navigating, but not getting anywhere. Like, it feels like something's not pointed and understood. And so as long as I'm sort of acting foolish and living in this carefree world of mine that's really not necessarily carefree, but like some illusion world, then I'll forever be in the 5 Pentacle because I'm avoiding the honest truth. And as long as I avoid the honest truth, I can't really manifest what it is that would truly bring me happiness. But I would need to admit these things and surrender here. You know, that would be just, and that would bring balance into my world and integrate any of those fears and those things that are keeping me in a 5 Pentacle environment that isn't quite understood by me at this point in time. Mother of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. Yeah, so you could definitely feel like, you know, like you protect yourself and you'll be protected or have some form of boundary here till this person sees this. Or there's also like an energy here of like them having to come clean about something or apologize about something, understand something, and then admit it or come forward about something. And until then, you're sort of guarded or like protecting yourself here from someone who is lying to themselves. And that could be the thing that sort of yeah, like made this fall apart. Like if you were with this person, or if you're friends, or if you were in a relationship, or thought that something could have started, it's like that's the thing that tore us apart, or that's I can't see beyond, is the fact that this person is going to have to be honest and admit the truth about their feelings, or admit how they're living their lifestyle, and do some sort of admittance here, because it's not just and it's not fair what they were doing. It was going against the reality or the truth of this connection, or what you understood to be true. And it's definitely getting in the way of further manifestation here. And it could have definitely led to you feeling out in the cold by this person. Yes. Okay, so now that we got that, let us take a look at what is the truth here then about this person's real challenge. What is pile number 2's person, the person on their mind's real obstacle or challenge that they are actually navigating through here, that pile 2 might not be seeing or understanding at this time, or maybe missing? What is the true challenge with pile number 2's person? Objectively, innocence. We will read them shortly. Pile number 2's person's challenge, obstacle getting in the way of their growth, this connection, relationship. Pile 2's person. What is the objective truth regarding this person? Oh my goodness. Oh my tiddly-ta. Okie dokie. And we have the tarot witch. Let's not forget. Okay. Oh, wait. I almost forgot. Blind spot oracles for pile number 2's person. And objective look at. Okay. So we have virtue growth level 98, or the number 8, which has kept coming through a lot of 8s when you're reading there, okay? Or your perspective. So we have innocence, self-kindness, vulnerability, sincerity, sensitivity, authenticity, self-weakness, acceptance. This is what you were wanting them to do, but they were fighting that what appears as a weakness to them. Okay, type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Fascinating. All right, we have 90, number 9, happy event growth level, forgiveness, admitting fault. Remember that was coming through with the 7 swords in reverse and the justice, like there's some sort of need to come forward. Okay, forgiveness, admitting fault, act of mercy, clemency, apologies, gracefulness, and reconciliation. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting one's self. And we have 69, suspicion, collective plague, stress level, generalized mistrust, tracking trend, lies, paranoia, hidden things, duty to monitor. 6, type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. And we have neutral event, ego level 43, or the number 7, journey, adventure, travel, trip, exodus, discovery, and migration. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Okay, and then we have desperation with 35, or the number 8. Okay, another 8, so 88, a higher calling that is grounded in self-awareness and reverence for life. So let's keep going. We have 66, another master number. Service is a source of joy in which one pours from an overflowing cup and not martyrdom. Betrayal, altered exterior image, falsehood and lies, failure, humiliation, social decline, career inactivity. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearing and authenticity. And then we have 68, initiatory ordeal, stress level, loneliness, entrepreneurial project, collaborative project, interdependency, physical challenge, social involvement, family responsibilities. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior. Okay, and then we have 56, ego's pitfall, stress level, spiritual pride, desire of recognition, superiority complex, self-sacrifice, dependence, rescuer syndrome, self-serving altruism. Type to the helper emotional center between giving and receiving. Interesting. And then we have 24, conscious awakening, ego level, fearfulness, dependency on others, need for support, need for safety, recurrent doubt, need for stability, tendency to distrust. 6, the loyalist. Sorry, type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. Oh my goodness. Okay. Lots coming through here. This might take a bit to unpack. Okay. Let me channel. Okay. Interesting. So let's get some signs here. We have Virgo, Cancer, Capricorn, Gemini, Leo, Pisces, Taurus, Sagittarius. And I don't know if I mentioned Libra, but we've got Libra too. Okay, so everything you said, you're seeing, but I think there's a piercing through, and this is kind of how one came out too. And maybe you weren't 100% certain of the why that is, and this is kind of showing the why that is. So yes, you're accurate about this person's withholding and this fear. Okay, there's a lot of fear. And this person does actually have way more dependency on others than they're leading out to be. Because I think with that control, it's like, it was kind of giving off an energy of, I'm captain of my ship, I make decisions, I'm in control, I'm autonomous, I want my independence, my freedom, and all of that stuff. But maybe you were seeing like it was really like this person needing some form of control, and you're right, because this person has a lot of dependency here that they're not even aware of how much they actually really depend on something that fills them, that they can't seem to trust the divine to bring into their world without it sort of going in a way that they manufacture. Because the fear won't let it come through naturally. They have to sort of generate and manufacture these situations and these circumstances, because we all need to bond and connect, and we're all human, to experience other and love and intimacy in some form or fashion. But when the fear is closing off certain sections of how to do it and when to do it and who to do it with, then we're limited. And so this person's limited, very, very limited here, because there's a tendency to distrust. And why they distrust is because there was something that's happened in the past here that's created their inability to trust people. And so there is this high alert of being disappointed, and everyone's sort of untrustworthy until I trust them. But there's always a reason not to. So we never fully get there, and that it's their responsibility to make sure that they don't get hurt. And if they were hurt in the past, it was their fault. It really was. Like, they feel like whatever's happened to them was they should have been more aware or alert, or it shouldn't hurt them as much. They could have had more say, more know-how, or been more involved, or should have known better, like coulda, woulda, shoulda, till the cows come home. And so as long as they carry this heaviness, which is why that's 10 of Wands in reverse, it's like a need to surrender, to forgive whatever has happened as a situation from the past that was meant to happen in their world, not because they're undeserving of love or needed to be traumatized or hurt, but to have this person work through this experience so that they could strengthen a part of themselves. And I think what's coming through with this forgiveness is they've been sort of repeating this, and now I feel like they owe you an apology for something here, and it could just be like a generalized apology for withholding and for not being honest and for like all of this. But it's really like, do they really owe us an apology, really, if they're acting out of fear? Not really. And they might have done things there that just like weren't honest with you and didn't, I don't know, couldn't, didn't, shouldn't, fearful. But it's like, it's not really about you, really, at the end of the day. Yes, there could have been an experience you had with a tower and with this person saying mistruths and all of that. But really, the forgiveness comes from them digging in deeper, because let's just say all of a sudden they feel bad about what they did. They could say, okay, I'm sorry. But that root issue is still remaining of the mistrust. And so they start to have the suspicion build up and brew up again. It's kind of like the faucet gets turned on during the point of the trauma. And when the faucet is on, the water keeps building. And we have to find a way to not only like remove the water that's flooding in our emotional house, but we need to turn off the faucet. And so if we say sorry for our actions, because this person might feel bad, in some capacity. I don't see it here, but let's just say they feel bad, or they know that it didn't allow this connection to progress, or it did something here to disappoint you in some way. And it's like, I already know that I got to be sort of on guard or not to get hurt. And that's my main priority. And it's like, oh, shoot, like I hurt Pile too. I recognize this. So let me come forward and apologize. It's like, okay, we open the windows, the water flows out, but we don't turn the faucet off of the water. And that is dealing with the root. And the root here is a need for forgiveness of whatever has happened here wasn't this person's fault. That this person has to forgive whatever has happened in their world from the eyes of it being an experience, no one really taking blame so much, for sure them not carrying this, because this is dictating all of their actions here, And so I feel like this person is in an energy here of like the way that they get the fulfillment now is through like another means. And I don't know what it means for your person, what that means is the means. It's like, but it is through a form of self-sacrifice, because of the fact it's like, instead of me going direct to the source of contentment and vulnerability and whatever, it's like, I'm going to forfeit that and then do some other elaborate thing here that makes me be needed, or like it bonds in a different way, or makes the people that I do engage with need me, or like I build myself up in some capacity where I am needed. So it kind of surfacely fills that special spot within me that's actually being ignored in some way, but it's not fully scratching it. It's not fully fulfilling it. And then that way that I'm doing it is like, it becomes dependent on me, but I'm really dependent on it. So it's like the group of friends, or the patterns I have, the habits I have, the things I have. And so this spiritual pride is really coming through as like, they have a belief that what they're doing here is so meaningful. And it's created this identity, like it's bigger than, them now. If you ask them, it's like, no, it's my calling. It's my purpose. It's like, what's real here? And it's like, is it really what's real, or is it the avoidance of what you're needing to look at because you experience some form of disappointments? And so this big elaborate thing is like larger than life. But I think what we're not seeing here is really the depth of the desperation that this person really does have the need to fulfill this thing, because I don't know how long this person's been in this type of an energy. And so there's only so much fulfillment we could get with this sort of high horse of, I don't know, spiritual dependency, like what's the right word? Like it's like a symbiotic relationship that they have with either what they do or who they hang out with or what's going on in their world, that is like also codependent in some way. Okay, but I feel like this person, if they were to look at the past betrayals or hurts, I feel this person might feel humiliated and have to deal with like what has transpired after that. Because I feel like this person, this whole world has sort of been built on this tower. And so if we acknowledge the foundation is sand in some way, and that we've been building that thing, like the tower comes tumbling down, And so then we might really hit some form of a rock bottom here. And so this person is really in desperate measures to upkeep that tower. And it's like this desperation, this loneliness, because we can't, like pretend sand is water and keep drinking sand and then say it's water, it's water, it's water. Eventually we need the water, you know what I'm saying? And so there's this like point of thing here that's not necessarily being fulfilled. And I do feel like maybe there is also like, this is coming through for some of you guys, like this person might actually have obligations here that are like legit, but they blow them out of proportion. And so let's just say they do have like a dependent friend or a dependent mother or sibling or some part of their world that actually is legit. It's like, I'm going to blow this thing up in a way that's saying like, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, because this person without me, like wouldn't do this or do that. And so there is some truth to this where it's like, yeah, that person is needed or is being pushed or is being called by that other person or the situation. You'll have to take that into context. Okay, so there is some truth there. So it's not just completely that this person is just in a complete bubble of denial doing these things, because I think a part of what they are doing, like there is a legitimacy here. And it's like the more they do that thing, because that thing, whatever the thing is, I don't know what it is, taking care of grandma, I don't know, going out, squandering their time, whatever it was that you were seeing. It's like there is something there about the friend group or the grandma or the thing there that is real. Okay, so it's not just like pretending sand is water when we're like drinking in the desert, because there's something about like maybe we think it's water, but it's like, mostly all sugar and like a little bit of water. So there is some water there, there is some legitimacy to what they're doing here. So there is some bond, or there is some legitimate bond, intimacy, or some part of being vulnerable, I guess. But it's like won over this person's trust in some way, because it's like there's this line I'm seeing, and it's like anything that crosses that is too deep or too much out of my control, or would generate the fear. And so I like to stay in the comfort zone and I don't cross the line. And this thing over here, it doesn't cross my line. It stays in the thing. And then I blow it up to be more significant, because when I blow it up to be more significant, it gives me more purpose. It's now making it look more like water, but I'm just convincing myself that part. It's like, no, it's still sugar with water, predominantly sugar with a little bit of water. No matter how much you want to call a pig, or a pig with lipstick still a pig. You know what I mean? So it's like this sugary water is still sugary water. It's not water with a bit of sugar. So this person likes to drink a lot of sugary water. But anyway, yeah. And so this person has a difficult time, okay? And so they might shift like their energy towards like, I don't know, like that there is this bigger part of themselves that's like bigger purpose, or like fulfilling something else. It's like more important than their need to be loved. It's like, yeah, but this is bigger, taking care of grandma is bigger, or like doing this occupation is like my calling. It's bigger right now. It's the thing that's actually, like I'm choosing to sacrifice myself in some way so I could give to this thing and be the caregiver, be the provider, or the doer, the driver, the glue that keeps this thing together. It's like, no, you're the only one saying this like completely. You don't have to sacrifice your own happiness and your own connections to maintain this thing here. It doesn't fall away. But I use this as my scapegoat. And so let's see, Hierophant in reverse. Yeah, so this person might really, really fear commitment. And also there's this thing about tradition. Okay, that's like a structured tradition, or what's expected of them. It's like this person trusted it at one point, or it just failed them at one point. I trusted it, then it failed me, or it just failed me and it didn't work. So now I'm like fighting that, which is traditional. And so even if I'm like put with a decision here, choice, it's like I'm doing the opposite, or I can't fully commit here to it. And then I'm saying all institution or all beliefs like this is like leading to this downfall or something like this. So we have 2 major arcana. We have Taurus and Gemini energy. 10 wands in reverse again. So I need to surrender, carrying that burden and that heaviness of that belief. It's too heavy to carry. And so I feel like even if this person, okay, now it's coming through desperation and 10 wands. It's like there's a need for this person really, 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 really to call them to action, to look at this thing. Because I feel like there's a desire that's very intense and that this person is like either snapped with the Tower. And yeah, now another whole thing's coming through. Somehow this Tower that I was feeling with your energy, maybe you're sensing a change in this person, that at one point they were really held back. And now it's like out of this desperation because, the sugar or water is getting to this person. You're seeing them sort of surrender potentially. You're seeing them sort of at this crossroads. You're seeing them no longer be sort of completely guarded potentially, that they're sort of giving in because it was too heavy for them to be distant, Yeah, look. So 3 wands in reverse and the 5 cups in reverse. It's like I was too lonely or I was too hurt doing that. I was shut out and I was abandoned. I felt sad. I didn't like that. Or looking back, what it created was just a distance between you and I. What it created was sadness and pain and regret. And now I don't like this. And so I surrender here. Okay, so you might be observing this. And if you're not, this is sort of where they're at. It's like the desperation here because the sugar water is getting to them. They got to make a change here. Yeah, look. An inability to commit to a future or to see that there could be a future down the road for this person that's like, I don't know, formal or standard. It's like a big fear of doing this because of their mindset, which was this reverse hangman. Ace of Cups in reverse. Oh my goodness, this thing is all flippity flop. I don't know which way it is, but it's Capricorn energy. Pisces. Okay, so beautiful angels. And then we have the 10 of Cups, expressing one's emotions. And then we have 10 swords. So your person here, you had a pretty good gauge of this person, okay? But we got a little bit of a deeper layer. I think there's a big shift here. Something's definitely coming to an end in regards to what this person needs to surrender that's been the obstacle in their world of connecting. Specifically, I feel it is in this connection. And if it's not with you, then it's like this part of their world that needs to be looked at authentically so this person can express how they feel. I think they can't no more. They can't no more be held back. They can't no more not express truly how they feel because it's too intense and it's blown over here and it's created suffering. So maybe one breakup too many or one loss too many, or they lost you already. It's like your mindset, pile 2's person, has been so fixated and stuck that all it led to is disappointments and like is your tunnel vision of how you've seen this and how you've been living your life getting you anywhere, or all what it's doing is like proving your theory right and you just keep getting hurt. And so I feel like this person is still working through self-love, is still having to allow themselves acceptance for a new beginning. But the new beginning is only allowed when this person like embraces love for themselves, acceptance for themselves, forgiveness for what's happened. And they address this devil because the devilly energy is this mindset that everything will hurt and that committing is going to chain me to some hurts. And I got to distrust this because it's always proven to be something. And so I never have trust or faith that there could be a future vision here. And why give in to the dream or the vision when I'm stuck here? And the unhealthy patterns. Okay, so some of you guys, these people could definitely be distracting themselves through addictive behaviors and patterns that don't allow them to grow and move. And it's like very, keeps them stagnant, I feel, here and stuck to a world they know at the expense of a beautiful future, and that they're here and they have a choice to make here, And it's like I just keep seeing the same thing that I've always seen, the world that I've always known, the understanding I've always had, and then become disappointed here. And so there's a real need for this 3 swords healing of the past. And the 5 plus the 1 is the 6. And 6 cups is, our childhood, things of the past that hurt us, past relationships, our inner child, something here that's been wounded and hurt and needing to be looked at and really work through, not avoidant. And it's got in the way of this person being truly open with their heart and feeling vulnerable in a way here that allows them to express themselves from a place of love has been very, very blocked. But this is definitely coming to an end here. Yeah, Daughter of Wands. So the passion was strong. The straw that broke the camel's back has happened, I feel, one breakup too many or one just sad story too many, or just the intensity got too strong. The sugar got too strong. And now I'm like in this desperate need to make things right here. But this doesn't mean that we know that we see through the devil. This doesn't mean that we're fully healed. This doesn't mean that we now know of self-love and acceptance. This is just like the first stage of surrendering and maybe coming out of like, if they were in a period of like, I wait, I'll watch, I'll see, and like a period of pause. It's like they're coming out of this so that they can do something here, because I do feel like they're being called to action and maybe to say sorry or maybe to pursue or like take some form of action. The ball's in their court. Okay. And I think this person understands this and I feel they really want this, So this is what I see, pile number 2. I hope this all made sense to you. I love you so much. If you're pulled to another pile, I will see you there. All right. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 3. You guys picked the Shungite wand, and I am recording the next day here. All right. So let's take a look. What are we looking at? We're looking at the person on your mind and what it is that you're seeing as this person's biggest challenge with themselves or how they're engaged in this connection with you, and what you perceive to be their struggle or their challenge. And then we'll take a look at what is actually their challenge. What is the objective truth in regards to what might be getting in the way of this connection or this person's growth or health of expansion when it comes to just them sort of expanding as a person. Okay. Let's take a look at your perspective. So if this beginning part doesn't seem how you see your person, then it might not be your pile. It could be reversed, meaning how your person is seeing you, okay? That's very common in this channel. So just be open, but don't force anything, okay? And don't take words literally. It's going to be the energy that I'm channeling. So Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3 in regards to how it is that they're seeing the person on their mind and the biggest challenge that they're seeing with this person, the struggles they're seeing in this person that's getting in the way of this person's growth or / this connection from pile 3's perspective. What are they thinking is the biggest challenge in this connection? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of this connection. Please help me to channel this message in a way that pile number 3 will understand. Thank you, Spirit. And thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading today. All right, we'll get some more with the tarot and hopefully I don't forget. Let's take a look. So we have feeling invaluable, basic fear, ego level 12, get rejected, anonymity, defeat, failure, poverty, unfortune. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. And we have feeling unidentified, 13, basic fear, ego level, misunderstood, insensitive, unseen, annoying, unimportant, unrecognized. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. Okay, and then we have in control, 26, conscious awakening, ego level, uncontrolled anger, authoritarianism, personal justice, conflict tendency, fear of vulnerability, rejection of weakness. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. 26 and 8, okay? And then we have 62, fundamental injury with stress level, injustice, abuse of power, malevolence, harm, persecution, mistreatment, and feeling victimized. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. And we have humiliation, 57, with fundamental injury, stress level, denigration, disregard, dishonor, affront, disdain, and lowering. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. And number 3, and we also have 13, inner call, ego level, real identity. Okay, self-acceptance, fulfillment versus lack, realism, thankfulness, appeasement, place in the world. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. Number 4, so feeling unidentified and then real identity. And we kind of have these like opposites. Okay. 13, 13. Okay. So, and then we have others see it, you don't. Number 42. And this is the blind spot oracle. So this is a 6. So let me tap into this energy. Okay. Okay, pile number 3. This is an interesting, very interesting energy. I'm going to say some signs here and then we're going to start to channel, okay? We have Pisces, Taurus, Libra, Aries, Scorpio, Leo, Capricorn, and Gemini. Okay? So we'll see more signs with the tarot when we dive in. And so let's peel this back, and this might take a bit to unpack here, okay? So don't click straight away off in case there's more here that doesn't come right away. And I don't necessarily think this is how you seeing your person. It could definitely be, okay? This could definitely be your high self and low self, okay? Or like your ego self and your highest self, your authentic self coming through here. Or this could definitely be how your person's sort of seeing you, okay? But I'm going to read this like I promised, which is how you're seeing the biggest challenge here with the person on your mind. Maybe it's how you're seeing yourself. Okay, so now let me get into it. There is this energy here of being the worst enemy, like you being your worst enemy, or like this person. See, I'm reading it like you. I don't know. This is what happens when I channel. I don't know. I'm not going to control how I'm reading this. It's just going to come out. Apply it how you see fit, okay? It's like this energy that I'm looking at here is like this person sees like they're their biggest worst enemy, because it's like they're seeing all the things here that they think they're unworthy, and that they're like that there's lack. The biggest thing here is that this person feels that there's lack. And this person could certainly be going through a massive transformation here, like an ego death or shedding old beliefs that have kept this person stuck at one point. And now there's this weird transition, because I feel like this person could certainly still be trying to figure themselves out. And so it's like whatever was in the past for me did not work. Whatever was in the past for me, or whatever I engaged in the past, was harmful, hurtful, or just it wasn't aligned with me no more. And now I am seeing this, and now I am, you know, like able to make changes here, or at least work with what I know. But there's a lot of emphasis here on this person thinking that they know already, like this energy of it's like a judgment energy about themselves that isn't coming from like nice eyes. It's like this energy of seeing themselves through the eyes of a lot of judgment. And so it's hurtful. It's not helping this person in any way. And this person might think that they're being real, they're being realistic, and that they're being honest with truths that's like, that was a failure, or that I am a failure, or that the world that I knew, or the world that I was living in was like not good in some way. And I wasn't providing any value or service in that world. And so now it's like I'm open to this new possibility of how I can be. And I'm kind of looking at the past version of me as someone maybe who, there's a lot of judgment here, is all I have to say, like perceiving the past self or the past version of self through the eyes of someone who like wishes things were different or wishes they didn't do what they did. Like there's humiliation here. So it could be a lot of shame, maybe carrying a lot of guilt. And it's like, the past version of me, I don't even want to identify with that version, you know? Um, but it's like an internal conflict. Like all I'm seeing is 5 wands here. It's an internal conflict because I think the people around this person, including maybe you, like if this is how you're sort of seeing that your person is seeing themselves, then you're saying like you see the beauty in this person. Maybe, the people around this person like see the potential, and this person just doesn't see all the potential. This person doesn't see their beauty. This person doesn't see all the blessings and opportunities that are currently around them. This person is hell bent on focusing on what didn't work and how it didn't work and what was not good about them and what is bad about them and what, like all of that stuff, what they would have to change and what needs to be changed and why it didn't work. And then because they think they're taking accountability by saying, yeah, it was my fault or my reason or my doing, so therefore I am stepping into accountability. Meanwhile, it's like there is no blame to be shifted here. There is no burden to carry. There is no heaviness for this person to have to sit through, because all of this is doing is creating heaviness for this person to be able to open themselves up to the new. And it's like this person might feel like this gives them more of the control because it's like, I don't know. It's like I now they're missing the main point here, I feel. And there goes my email confirming, yeah, the main point. There's still a lot of growth that needs to happen here with this person, because I do feel like this person, like we all ascend step by step, but they're kind of in this middle zone, this no man's land is still heavy in illusion. And so they might think that they've awakened to some sort of reality, but they've just awoken within another lie or another layer of the dream. And the dream here is that I am, like seeing my fault, and I'm seeing all that didn't work. And it's like, yay, I'm awake because I could see it now. And so now I have more control because I'm aware of the hurts and the rejections and the things that were creating my suffering. And it's like, no, you don't have any control over like what has unfolded in your world. It was to unfold the way it was. The only thing this person has like an ability to do is to accept reality and love it, and this doesn't mean like in a toxic way of toxic positivity. I love everything, even the bad, but it's like seeing the bad as what is real, the bad, the things that we shy away from, the things we don't like, and like experiencing these things and saying, and really like taking them in as lessons and blessings, not as blame and fault and resistance, because what we resist persists, and the more we sort of deny and try to avoid and run away from, like it pulls it to us. And so this person can stay in this suffering state by sort of staying in this energy, thinking that they're uncovering more, but they just keep like this perpetual like self-speak that generates more things to look at that's more unhappy. Like they have to see through the illusion and rise a little higher, because they're stuck in the mind trying to undo the mind. Like I always say, we can't go from the same angle that's created the issue, or that level of understanding, with the same level of understanding we've always had, because there's a level of understanding here of like creating a world that they feel like wasn't happy, and they felt without, it's lacking, it's a scarcity for sure. And it's like, it's still other people's fault. It's still the world out there. It's still, but they think like, now that I'm seeing it, like I have an ability to do something here, or be like the captain of my ship here, or like I can manifest something now. And it's like, no, until we undo the negative thought or the illusion itself, we just keep manifesting the same thoughts and the same feelings, because the truth of the matter is, this person isn't at this person isn't as in control as they think they are. They haven't created what they think they created in their world. And the suffering that they're enduring is actually still being generated by them, that they don't see this yet. There's a big emphasis on this person's mindset still being in the same way that's generated and created suffering, even if their whole world is churned, even if their beliefs are like being shown to them different. This person's still fundamentally ingrained in a toxic way of understanding of themselves that isn't leading for healing and change, or they could be amidst this, because their journeys are all different. So for sure, this person could be working through it. But as far as I'm seeing here, this person is still working through this. And they're still carrying a lot of this judgment of self. And they're still fighting the divine for control, thinking that they have some form of ability to control or some ability to make things different in their world somehow by doing the same thing they've always done. Meanwhile, they can make a change by undoing what it is that's already in some unhealthy integration into a thought process. It's a need for transformation and a release of the old so there could be the new. And I think this person is needing to change their perspective with this 12 hangman, because I think their understanding has been some way of engagement, like I said, that needs a greater elevated point of view. They need to work with the divine, surrender to the divine, and not carry whatever it is that they're carrying here. And I feel like this will take a lot of courage for this person to accept this, because when we accept this, it's like we got to look at our greatest fear. And also, I think this will allow this person movement. This will allow this person to sort of go in the direction that they're destined to go through. So that was a lot for a first round. Like it seems like, I don't know, like if you're seeing your person like this, then it's like you're seeing your person going through this shedding of the old is really what you're seeing, and that they're still working through these beliefs and working through release and fighting the universe for control and coming from a scarcity mindset here. Pile 3 and the way that they are perceiving the person on their mind is the biggest challenge. What is it that I'm missing here for pile 3, Spirit? Can we get some more clear and concise message for pile 3? Thank you so much. Look at this. And I said 13, which was death. And I was really getting like the shadow, because I was saying like there's still this, even though they're transforming, death, but in the reverse is like we're still clinging, we're still not accepting some release here that needs to be transitioned out, accepted as a part of the past, or at least a version of old self that we're still identified with. Something in our environment, some sort of mindset, some actual material thing, even some relationship, some thing that we're still saying out loud is us, or has to be us, or is a part of this thing, and it's like actually it's not. Okay, and others see it and you don't, could definitely be, if this is the person on your mind, you're seeing it but they're not, and it's very apparent to you. And if this is you, because like I said, I'm getting a blend here, it's like it's so obvious here that like this needs to be released, whatever this is. Like this person's hanging on to an old relationship or an old thing, and it's like we're either in denial or hanging on to the comfort blanket, and then we're feeling not good about it, and then we're sort of making stories as to why it has to be like this, and this is actually going to make me feel a little bit better here because now at least I'm seeing it, or at least I'm being honest in some way. But it's like, are you really though? Are you just sort of still clinging and making reasons that make you feel comfortable? Because I feel like there's self-speak that makes me feel comfortable here in what's actually toxic or not good, or and I see toxic though. I'm not seeing devil, but I feel it's toxic because it's a mindset that has stagnancy, hesitation, denial. It's like a devilly energy that I feel here. But we're trying to make reason why the devil needs to be here. Doesn't need to be here, no matter how we spin it. Okay. Queen of Cups in reverse, Page of Cups in reverse for pile number 3. And how it is that they're seeing the person on their mind in regards to the biggest challenge, the struggle that pile 3's person is working through according to pile 3. 2 Wands. Why is Death in reverse here? The Fool in reverse. Why is this Page of Cups here in reverse? 6 Pentacles in reverse, and finally this 2 Wands. Why is 2 Wands here? Nine Pentacles and the Page of Swords, and there's the Emperor. And under the Emperor we have the Judgment. And I was really feeling the Judgment energy, like strong. Okay, but this Judgment's in reverse, which means in the shadow. And that was really the thrust of all of this was, I see now, but it's like, are we really seeing clearly? Or are we just holding a judgment here and making an opinion based on what we think it looks like, you know, and then running with that? We're not seeing something here. Okay, I'm talking like I'm talking to you. I don't know. To apply this to your situation, this is how it's being channeled. This person's energy here is someone, according to how it's coming through, so it could be your perspective, a need for empowerment that's actually empowerment, not a belief that we're getting empowered, not a some form of saying it's empowerment, but it's not. Some inability to accept some form of truth, to release something that's old and done that needs to be transitioned out in order for this person to have a new beginning that's more connected to happiness for this person. That in order for this person to move forward, they're going to have to get out of the old world. And Spirit's really talking about this person being in a position that's incapable right now of investing as long as their hands are full in the old world, as long as their mindset's in the old world, as long as they're there. And they might think that they need to be there, or that this is part of this, you know, like they're actually doing things here to help mitigate or move this. And it's like, no, they're actually dragging their feet, making it longer, making it more difficult. But it is a part of their process, obviously, because this is happening, right? But it's like a resistance here instead of a surrender. And it's like, as long as we're here, we can't invest in the new. If we can't invest in the new, we stay suffering in the old. And so this new world would require this person to be in a different energy here. And I don't know that this person is comfortable in this energy. 9 Pentacle and an Emperor energy. It's like not needing the things we depend on of the world, and that world that's familiar to us, to hoist us up in some way here and tell ourselves that it needs to be there because it does this, that, and the other. Does it though? Or does it do something else here that we're not wanting to see or be honest with, or we just don't see it? We just don't see it or understand it because we keep sort of looking in the same direction. And so we keep seeing the same thing, and it keeps confirming what we already know. Meanwhile, there's something else going on the other side. And so there's all these things going on, and we got to be open to seeing all of it. Like, could it be a possibility that I'm not letting something go here where I can, that I'm sort of still telling myself something that could possibly be like an untruth or just a support of something, which is really me fearing going on my own or being independent or like creating my own stability here in some way. So I tell myself that I must stay here for whatever reason, or that I can't take a step forward, that I'm not yet ready to make this choice or this decision. I can't yet be there because I'm not yet there. And it's like Spirit saying, yeah, this person is there. The only reason they think they're not there is because they're telling themselves they're not. It has nothing to do with anyone else, and all to do with how they're clinging to something, or like they're uncomfortable with the unknown, and they're have a mindset here that's it's like whatever they are doing is keeping them feeling in the feeling they don't like. And if they only knew that they're in a feeling that they don't like, and they're really the big driver of this, they would be jumping at the chance to make this change way sooner, you know? So, yeah, that's what I'm getting here. Okay, I don't know, whoever this resonates for, but if this seems like an energy that you're resonating with, either the way you're seeing your person or self or something like this, let's take a look then at what is the objective truth here, because some of it was coming through as seeing this thing through the eyes of what's actually going on. But we could dive in deeper to what we're not understanding or seeing from a different angle or perspective here. But the biggest one here, I feel, is that reverse judgment of the fact that I really feel this person might be telling themselves that they're seeing or understanding something that they fully aren't, you know, and everybody else sees it or knows it, or like they think they should know it and they're not seeing it or understanding it. Okay, so let's see. Thank you so much, Spirit, for this message. For pile number 3's person, what is the objective truth then? What's really sort of going on in regards to this person's actual challenge? What is the actual challenge going on with pile 3's person then? What pile 3 needs to understand here. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of this connection. Please help me to channel in a way that pile 3 will understand. And what is the actual truth in regards to obstacle or challenge happening in pile 3's person's energy? Thank you, Spirit. We have a reaction formation, and we'll read them shortly. Pile number 3's person. And the biggest challenge, obstacle, that is getting in the way of this person's growth, in the way of this connection, in the way of healing, movement and change. For pile number 3, Spirit. Thank you so much. Okay. One more. Abandonment. Okay. And then we have the tarot, which we'll read shortly. So let's see what we have. We have 108, healthy love, growth level, unconditional love, love without expectation, love for no reason, absolute love, pure love, full love, love without reserve. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting one's self. Okay, and then we have loneliness, difficult events, 77, stress level, withdrawal, dropout, isolation, exile, solitude, abandonment, coming out twice. K77 is a master number. Trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom. Trust of life, trust of self. 5. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior. Abandonment. It says initiatory ordeal, 65, stress level. Refusing to help, social isolation, self-care time, being rejected, feeling useless, traveling alone. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. Okay. with 2. And we have 28, defense mechanism, ego level, reaction formation, opposition to self-impulses, lying to yourself, self-compelling, self-censorship, forcing yourself, reactions, self-control. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive, center between control and letting go, with the number 1. And then we have 29, discharge, defense mechanism, ego level, awareness, refusal, self-forgetfulness, inhibition, self-censorship, needs suppression, unconscious prohibition. Type 2, the helper, emotional, center between giving and receiving. And we have 105, essence, growth level, faith, absolute certainty, loyalty, trust, belief, mysticism, spirituality. 6, type 6, the loyalist, thinking, center between mistrust and trust. And finally, we have despair with 76, dark night of the soul, stress level, emotional disconnection, loss of meaning, sorrow, overwhelm, dark visions, deep melancholia. Type 4, the individualist, emotional, center between lack and abundance, the number 4. And then we have in the blind spot oracle, looking to the outside. Okie dokie. Let's tap into what's going on over here. Okay. I feel for a lot of you guys, it is your energy, and it's like low self, high self is kind of how I see it, That's how I have to read it, because that's how it's coming through. And it could be mirrored with your person, This person, the truth is coming through. A lot of what I read was how that person was seeing, because I was talking about them being in some form of in denial, and like I'm seeing through that objectively, that spirit was actually coming through saying that there's like a need to release and all of that stuff, and like a victim mindset. Okay, that is all objectively coming through here as well. It's like this person is still in the victim mindset. They're still blaming coulda, wouldas, and shouldas, and that out there is a separate world. The separate world is the reason why of the suffering and all of this stuff. And even if they don't want to believe it like this, they feel it to their core that they're lacking, that they're in the cold, that they're without. There's a loneliness and isolation. They're not loved. They're not supported. And why are they experiencing this whole thing? Spirit's really talking about this need to experience this so that we can actually connect to the truth. And the truth is, unconditional love is underneath all of this illusion, separation, consciousness. There's an outside world. And when I'm not, like being shown in the 3D world by an external validation that I am loved or cared for, then I'm worthy. I'm unworthy, and I'm lonely, and that I'm being abandoned, and that nobody cares, and that I'm not fully whole, and that I'm not complete, which is untrue. And we don't know this, believe it, inner experience it. No matter how much we say, yeah, I'm whole, it's like, yeah, we could think we're whole, but we have to inner believe this. This person doesn't inner believe that they're whole. They believe that they're lacking, and they also believe in separation. So there might be really, really sort of feeling not understood and withheld from love and the person that they love. They feel isolated, and this person's lying to themselves, because the great truth is actually that we are divine beings that are whole and complete, that don't need to seek an external validation in order to feel this. And how do we connect to it? We have to go within, rather than keep pointing our nose out there, trying to prove to ourselves, trying to seek other people from external people, situations, this need to fulfill this thing that feels empty. And it only feels empty because we keep pointing out there. But when we go within and we connect to it, it overflows and starts to fill us up. This is where we cultivate this trust. And so this person is being guided, I feel. There's a dark night of the soul, so I feel like this person's either going through a Kundalini awakening, an awakening of sorts, definitely like an ego death or a dark night of the soul where the false self falls away, where we see through the illusion. What's the big illusion that's falling away for this person? The illusion of separation. And it could be through a breakup. It could be through feeling unloved. This person has a need to heal an abandonment wound. How they engage in love is like, if I'm not loved by another, I feel alone and lonely and like isolated. That's a lie. Okay, like, yes, they feel this way for sure. They're not making it up, but it's a lie because they have an integrated belief that that is their story and what they know to be true, because that's what they've experienced. And so their mind story is really woven into this belief, and it strengthens that belief. And now they're seeking this validation. And so as long as we carry that belief, we're going to be at the mercy of what's out there. And there is nothing out there that's perfectly always going to follow through every single time. And so this is why there's disappointment. When we're seeking out there, it's going to, at some point in time, slip, not fulfill us. Okay? There's always going to be a different person, a better person, a person who cheats, a person who doesn't show up, a person who has faults, flaws, who doesn't scratch the itch, who doesn't fulfill the cup, who doesn't pour into us at some point. And there's no need to be like, oh, this one's kind of mediocre, or this one kind of does it sometimes, or this one can fulfill it for 20 years, but not the other back end 30. But like, there's no need for any of this. There's just connecting to the light of self, undoing the belief in scarcity, the belief that there is like, that we are separated from the ones we love. We're always connected. And this isn't an overnight thing that we just all of a sudden say, well, let me just believe it. And so I know, and I feel connected. This happens through a process of shedding the beliefs, the dark night of the soul, going through a very painful process, seeing through the illusion of separation. You're not alone. You're not isolated. There is no abandonment here. Everything is connected. So how could we ever be abandoned? There is no need to go seeking for pleasure and for fulfillment. This person is coming into the truth of what it means to unconditionally love self so that they can unconditionally love another. Because right now, this person can't show unconditional love. And they can't show it because they don't understand what it is. This doesn't mean that they don't have some form of love, but it could be a transactional love, a deep, deep, deep sense of a fulfillment here that only stems from a fear. And so it feels like love, but it's fear-based. It's transactional-based. It's not unconditional. It's not coming from a place of unconditional. It comes with a whole bunch of expectations and conditions. That's not love. Love accepts things as it is. Love doesn't need anything to change or be different. Love is just a feeling that comes through from the authentic place of acceptance, and it just is. And so this person's connecting to this. And like I said, it has to be a self-love of self first. Okay, so I feel like this person is, all I see here is like an awakening of sorts, you know? It could be everything coming online, their spirituality, their intuition, they're seeing through the illusion of separation, them learning the lesson of unconditional love, which means opening their heart space, them dealing with root chakra trauma that's been developed from, abandonment when they were a child, or from past relationships, or just how they understand love to be, which is transactional and not a fear. And so at this point in time, they're experiencing a lot of loneliness and a lot of feeling isolated and on their own through this, but they're not alone, and spirit is by their side, and they're learning to trust the divine, learning to trust this journey, learning to trust to navigate through this whole thing. And this person is having to see through what's actually real and what's actually not real, and it might become very confusing because the 3D world that this person might have understood is now not making a whole lot of sense. And the mystical world, the spiritual world, might be coming online. And so now we're completely confused as to what's true, what's not true, what's real, what's not real. It's very discombobulating here, and then we might really feel like with this despair, like, since I don't even know what's real right now, what's happening to me. We might be carrying a very heavy depression and feeling like everything's just lost its meaning. And there's a lot of ups and downs throughout this process here, okay? We might feel very, very disconnected from the world around us. We might feel not understood at all. We might feel very, very sad, depressed, lonely, and isolated. It keeps coming through, like the world's turned their back on us, and even the divine might have turned their back on us, or even we feel like we turned the back on ourselves. It's like, because I don't even know now what's real or what I should be doing. And now I just pull away from the world, and I feel like I'm not an expression out there of the truest version of me, of what I could do. I feel of not value. I don't feel valuable in this world being anything right now because I don't know what I am or who I am. And so I'll just sort of not do anything, or I'll just like wait for this to pass, or I'll just sort of sit here in my own mind and keep sort of staying in the mind, repeating the same thing I've said, because that's what I'm seeing or understanding at this point in time. And so I will stay doing this, but it's just like creating more of that anxiety or more of that belief, or strengthening that belief, that integrated belief that's actually not real to begin with. And so I start to feel even more bad or mad or upset or disappointed and dejected, and this middle space. Instead of just completely giving it up to the universe and trusting and knowing that what's for me will come in front of me, that I am learning a very profound lesson, and that I'm very blessed to be learning this lesson of unconditional love, really tapping into that light of my heart space, which a lot of people don't generally connect to. And I'm being given this gift, this opportunity to see the truth. And although it's painful right now and it's overwhelming, it's much needed here for me to understand this. And so I'm not going to blame what's happened and what is happening. I'm going to see it as a blessing and a lesson, that I'm being shown this for a very good reason, and it will come and it will become very clear, and I will learn to trust the process. And at the end of this all, I'll learn a very strong ability to see myself from the eyes of pure love, without any sort of expectations or strings or conditions that don't need to be there at all. Okay, so wowzers. This is all I gotta say is wowzers. I don't know. Maybe you need to hear this message if this was you or your person's going through a profound spiritual awakening. It's not fun. We're looking at pile number 3's person, and what's the objective truth that in regards to the big challenge that they're being faced with, aside from all of the stuff I already talked about. What is this challenge? What is the big challenge here going on with pile number 3's person? What is the actual challenge? Obstacle getting in the way of this person's connection. There goes my email. So if this person wants to connect, because I feel this person is lonely, feeling abandoned, there might be someone they're wanting to connect with. I read for soul connections, spiritual connections. They're very mirrored. When we ascend, when we heal, when we do this work, we start to move connections and energy flow. This might feel very stagnant at a very all-time low. So I've connected here with someone who's feeling very low. Okay, so this person's going to have to sort of work through this. Now, they don't have to do anything, but if they want to be freed of suffering and have things move, once this person connects to this, I think they're going to connect to their beloved, because I feel like we go through this profound energy shift when we're really being shown a mirror. And this really happens through either a twin flame or like through a profound wake up, shake up from the universe, so that we're on the path, the right path of whatever we're supposed to be doing, because we were wrapped up in some other world that wasn't for us or was keeping us small or stuck. And Spirit's like, no, pile 3, wake up time. And I know it sucks and I know it hurts, but it's for your own good here, and you'll see, And you did choose this in another life, so don't you worry. Okay, so we have the 8 of Wands. I don't read bottom of the deck reverse, and the Magician in reverse. Virgo, Gemini. Father of Pentacles. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn in reverse. 8 Swords. 5 Wands. Did I not tell you 5 Wands was what I was really seeing there at the beginning? I was seeing a bunch of 5 Wands. It was like the inner conflict was huge. Okay, Justice in reverse. Libra energy. Father of Cups. And the Mother of Pentacles. So we have the Mother and the Father of Pentacles. Okay, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, both earth signs are both in reverse here. Okay, and then we have the Daughter of Cups, which is the Page of Cups in reverse, and we have the 10 Wands. And under this Magician, we have the Hierophant, Taurus energy. Okay. Crows talk about communication. Magician talks about communication with Mercury. 8 Wands is about communication. Pages are about communication. Okay, now when I say communication, it doesn't necessarily have to be words like coming out of the mouth, but it is authentic expression. That's what's coming through here. The authentic expression of self, how one guides oneself in the direction of truth and honesty, can only come when we see the truest version of ourselves. When we're acting out of the identity we create, we're still in ego. We're still in protection mode. We're still acting out of the false self, trying to protect, defend, upkeep an identity, an egoic belief. We don't know that it's an ego. It's survival mode. Okay, and as long as we're like feeding that energy, staying in that energy, supporting that energy, feeding it by hanging on to that belief, then the true self sits underneath there, sort of longing to be heard and seen. And so we sit stagnant. And we're going to have a breakthrough here. I'm seeing Tower with the lightning, okay? I'm also feeling Aquarius energy, just from this lightning energy, from this Uranus energy that I'm suddenly getting. Okay, the sudden energy is like this dark night of the soul, the spontaneous awakening. The awakener is here, and it's creating a big shift here. And this is happening for this person to finally move. And if this is your person that's having this awakening, this person, you will know that they were stagnant. And if it was you, you were stagnant. There's some authentic movement that needs to happen in the direction that this person's being called to manifest. Otherwise, this person sits stagnant in a world that they're not manifesting the new. Okay, and so why is this important? Because this person is being called to build something for the future that could stand the test of time. And it could certainly, like I said, for a lot of you guys, because this is about the connection, about a relationship that is solid, stable, committed, reliable, mother-father energy. Okay, this is marriage sort of energy with the Justice, the Father and the Mother of Pentacles, and we're getting the Hierophant. So it could definitely be in a marriage that isn't working. Okay, it could be in a partnership that once was and it's no longer. And now I'm in some 8 swords about it, saying why I can't and what is what, and creating all these limitations just based on thought alone, and then feeling very conflicted about it. It's like, yeah, I can't. Now's not the time, or it won't allow me to move forward, or I don't have what I need or in place. I'm missing this or I'm missing that. Meanwhile, there's like this Father of Cups energy around, which is true deep emotions. The Father of Cups loves the deepest out of all the kings here. He is emotionally deep, is very profound. He knows how to unconditionally love, okay? But he sits there loving. But where does it go? It goes nowhere. It goes nowhere because he needs to, like I said, the authentic expression needs to move forward. There needs to be an acceptance and then a movement of this. Otherwise, he just sits there dreaming, fantasizing, arguing with himself, saying coulda, woulda, shoulda, and can'ts and won'ts. And so there creates this all imbalance in this world. And so the fears and the beliefs and the restrictions that we identify with, the stories that we believe to be true, are keeping this person small and stuck and out of balance. They're needing to integrate this shadowy part of self so that they could find balance in their world and have movement. Their heart is opening and I feel is blocked right now. Having a heart opening is painful because we have to burn through the lower chakras first. And it's like the more we're exposed and confronted by this, the more we fight, or the ego fights. Okay, that's this 10 Wands. I'm really seeing like fighting. Because we fight to a point where the pressure is so strong and where we have no point but to surrender because we can't no more. And the ego will fight tooth and nail to be alive, and it'll start throwing everything in the kitchen sink so that we believe it, so we keep it alive, Believe in the story I tell you. I'm not going anywhere and I don't want to go anywhere. And that's why this ego death is a big process and very painful, because it doesn't want to go, and it'll create another persona and another story to believe. And if that doesn't hold your attention, then another one. But it keeps coming from the same angles, or at least from the same mind, and comes from the back door, but it's still from the mind aspect. And the mind only has sort of one trick. It comes from the mind. It doesn't matter where this ego story is coming from. It keeps throwing different stories, but it's still the mind story. And so once we see that mind in action, it can't get us anymore. We could fall into the thought, but we see through it. It's like, okay, thought, I see you, thought. I see you, thought, but I'm not buying your story anymore. I'm now removed, or at least apart from it. There's space between my actual self, my truest self, and these thoughts that are coming. And I'm not resisting the thought. I let the thought come, but I see right through it. It's just a fear. It's just a story. It's just an old way that I used to talk to myself. It's not going to get me anywhere. It's just the ego struggling to stay alive. I'm surrendering to the divine. I know that there's another way here. So this person is going through it, okay? These readings are really intense, and it's taking a lot out of me, this reading here. I feel for this person. I really do. They're in the thick of it right now. Whatever I caught this person was needing to hear this, and that their future is definitely something here that the divine promises to this person, pile three's person, of something that is worthy, that could be built upon, that is sustainable in the 3D, not just pie in the sky. And the only way to get there is to integrate shadow, to find balance between the masculine, feminine energies, so we can come in a balanced way to create this thing, so we can have movement. And the only movement Spirit's going to allow is the authentic movement, is the manifestation of the truest thing that pile three's person supposed to create. No more creating the world that we used to know, because pile three's person has already experienced that. So Spirit's saying, no, there is no need to keep creating and manifesting in that world. That's why things might seem like they're falling apart or not working or not flowing. It's like everything is falling apart and doesn't make sense, And it's like, instead of like putting ourselves out there, maybe we're still honing our own sort of understanding, I feel this person might feel very weak and like it needs some time to sort of gather themselves. And so if they are removed, they're gathering themselves for a good reason, but they could be removed as long as they need to, and they could keep feeding this 8 swords, So just removing self doesn't make things better. Well, if they remove self, they have to be piercing through this 8 swords of limiting thoughts, and really like challenging themselves to look through this, Like to qualify every thought. Is this thought a truth or an assumption that's made and creating a limitation in my world? And why is that? Am I doing this to protect myself? So, like I said, sometimes it's generated by not getting the person we want, or feeling isolated from the person we want. It could definitely be that someone's not providing a level of commitment here, But I do feel like we're dealing with a marriage. And I don't know if this is a legal marriage or like a contractual thing, because when I see justice, it's talking about maybe karmic lessons, and justice being served in regards to lessons and energy balancing out. So this is what I see, pile number 3. I hope this helped you. I love you very much, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, beautiful pile number 4. You guys picked the chakra wand. Gorgeous. I had to glue this back together because it's completely just broke on me live, actually, on one of my readings. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was actually quite interesting that it's just busted. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm recording the next day, okay? I had to do all 3 piles sort of next day, which isn't normal for me because I generally always record straight through, but that's how it's turned out. Okay, and they've been very heavy, these readings, so I'm kind of glad that I spread them out. I wasn't expecting to see all of what I'm seeing here. So pile 4, let's save the date. What are we looking at? We're looking at the person on your mind and how it is that you're seeing this person in regards to the biggest challenge. Sometimes other people see your challenges more clearly than we do, And it appears for all three piles that there's been a level of accuracy in how we're perceiving, based on what the truth is. And so we're looking at how you see this person in regards to the challenge and the struggles and the obstacles getting in the way of this person's growth, healing, or this connection. And then the objective truth in regards to what's actually the challenge, what's actually, getting in the way of this connection or this person's growth. Are you accurate? Are you missing something? Is there more truth to the story than you're seeing, And this is to provide a level of healing so that we can deal with people knowing, where they're coming from and be more compassionate and understanding. Okay, so let's take a look at pile 4. Pile 4 came here in regards to a connection, a person on their mind, and they have an understanding of this person. Can we take a look at their understanding of how they're perceiving the person on their minds as the biggest challenge or obstacle regarding this person at this time? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of beautiful pile number 4. Spirits, please help me to channel this message in a way that pile 4 will understand. Thank you so much. And pile 4, thank you so much for being here. I'm so blessed and so grateful to do your reading. I did not read that. If it wants to come out again, it will. It looked yellow though, so solar plexus energy could be coming through. In regards to pile number 4 and their perspective regarding the person on their mind. And this deck right here, and then we will begin. Pile 4, person on their mind and how they're seeing this person's biggest challenge, obstacle, getting in the way of this connection, or pile 4's person's progress in their world. So let's take a look, shall we? Let's not forget the tarot. We have solar plexus energy with the yellow. 45, fixation, ego level. Self-forgetfulness. Number 9, self-cancellation, compromise, adaptation, concession, self-neglect, forget your needs. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting one's self. Wowzers. Okay, and then we have 40, fixation, ego level, melancholy, wistfulness, sadness, gloom, spleen, depression, perpetual lack. Type 4, the individualist emotional center between lack and abundance. Number 4. And we have 50, sin, ego level, invaluability. This is stringy. Isn't it supposed to be stingy? I don't know what stringy is. And this always comes up, but it actually says stringy, I think. Stringy with one's time. But I'm going to read that as stingy, okay? Stingy with one's time, invested elsewhere, absorbed, busy, focused elsewhere, invested in his passion, his or her passion. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior at the number 5. Leave it to a Virgo to correct cards. Oh, Linda. All right. So I'm not always accurate either. Okay. 82, happy event, growth level, marriage, holy matrimony, ceremony, wedding, wedlock, sacred union, official commitments. Number 1, type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. What's interesting is I think this came out for 3 piles. Yours and 2 others, I'm pretty sure. Okay, for sure for 1 other, but I don't remember. I think it was pile 2, if you recalled. So 93, mystical union, growth level, the authentic self, detachment from the result, balanced lifestyle, sincerity, intrinsic value, pure intention, willingness to contribute. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearing and authenticity. The number 3, more solar plexus energy. And we have 13, inner cult, ego level, real identity. This came out for pile 3. This is interesting. Look, authentic self and real identity. Like, isn't this crazy? Self-acceptance, fulfillment versus lack, realism, thankfulness, appeasement, place in the world. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. And number 13 or 4. So we have 2 4s coming out. 44 is a master number. Integrity is a foundation. Treating the earth as home and a temple. Manifestation and leadership, which is this yellow solar plexus, which is all about leadership. Okay, and will and drive. So we have deflection with 76, which is number 13. So we have 1313. It could definitely be an angel number you're seeing here. Okay, but 13 is all about transformation. Scorpio energy. And then we have reactivity with 38. Number 11. So 11 is a master number. Divine inspiration, synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going. So let me sit here with this energy, okay? Okay. That was fast. Pile number 4. This could definitely be how your person is seeing you. This could be how you're seeing yourself even, okay? And then the back end could be your higher self, what's actually objectively kind of going on. Okay, because I do feel like for some of you guys, it's reverse how your person's sort of perceiving you and then objectively sort of the truth. This energy here is somebody who's actually come into their authentic self. Okay, there's an authenticity here of a true self, and it's come through a process that's been quite painful, because I feel like this person has seen or understands a growth here of you. See, I'm reading it like it's of you. I have to read it this way. That's how it's coming through. I'm really sorry, you apply it to whomever, however, okay? But this is how it's going to be read. How this person is sort of seeing you. It's like you learned this process through a very difficult way. This kind of feels like pile 3, but more like further along in their journey, because it's like through a painful process of not getting maybe the recognition, the love, and putting yourself sort of last and not being seen, understood, loved, and welcomed in some way here. We felt dejected and left out, and it's done nothing except for wake us up. And what did it wake us up to? It woke us up to the truest version of ourselves that is loved despite who's showing up and who's not showing up. There's a solidness here about your energy, because I do feel this is your energy. And I do feel like there is this healing that's still happening. We're always healing, okay? No matter how authentic we are and how connected we are to the true self, there is still lessons here that needs to be learned. And what this person is seeing as your biggest lesson right now is, like when we're just overly compensating and putting ourselves last to sort of keep the peace, and maybe even just like expect for some sort of change in some way, but we're really not addressing what we're needing to address. And what we're needing to address is that we're deserving, and that we're worthy, and that we could stand up for ourselves, and that we can say no and put certain boundaries, and we could do certain things. That doesn't automatically mean we're a bad person or that we're being unloving or unkind in some way. This person sees that you might react. This is like a passive aggressive type energy too. Like we react when we had enough. We react when we're hurt. We react when we just let people step all over us. And then all of a sudden it's like we react, it's like, now I'm standing up for myself. It's like, yeah, but you weren't. And you're just sort of triggered and upset. And now we're mad at the world because the world didn't do what it was supposed to do or act when it was supposed to act. And now we're sort of upset by this. And so I feel like this person feels like there's a truth that still needs to be accepted and seen. And when you might be like avoiding this sort of truth out of a desire to keep peace or to gain acceptance or to settle in some way, but it's at your own disappointments or demise in some way here, I feel like there's an energy of when I'm seeing this marriage, I'm really getting like a self-union, because I do feel like this is the masculine and the feminine coming together in a balanced, healthy way of union. Okay, we see mystical union here, we see sacred union, which it needs to happen. It's like a healing that takes place in order for there then to be an official commitment offered, but the healing must happen. The things we were trying to avoid or not look at or deal with needs to be dealt with and looked at. So I feel like we could be very triggered. We could be still emotionally feeling pulled by your emotions at times, where it's like I still allow my triggers to get the best of me, I still don't stand up for myself in some way, and then I feel left out or disappointed. I think that whatever's manifesting has been sort of disappointing for this person. And it's been an experience of disappointments in order for this person to connect to finding what's not disappointing within themselves. So if they were distracted with the fulfilling external world, a 3D world that was like transactional and temporary, as long as that world is there, pile 4 would be happy. But the minute that world shifts or changes, pile 4's world would fall apart. The Spirit's saying no. For pile 4 to be truly happy, and we strip pile 4 of all of this 3D transactional happiness, and pile 4 will twiddle their thumbs and feel left out and feel sad and feel like no one's got time and like all of this, and they'll be forced to deal with what they were not wanting to look at or haven't dealt with before in their past lives or in this lifetime or whatever, in order for them to come into their truest self. And the truest self is going to know that there is nothing out there that's going to fulfill me. There's nothing out there that's going to bring to me the fulfillment and the happiness until I come together with myself and come whole with myself and come into union with myself. Then it's like I can't get pulled. I can't get emotionally sort of triggered by external world, whether people are coming or going or being respectful or not, or this or that. Now, this doesn't mean that I have to put up with people who are disrespectful and that it's the way it is and that's fine. No, this is seeing beyond surface shadowy engagements of other people, and it not taking a part of us or making us feel less than or making us feel sad about ourselves, or like that person or that external situation is like reflecting our own value when it's not. And so I feel like there is maybe enough disappointment here that your person is seeing you, because this is how it's coming through and how I'm reading it. Don't care if you want to flip it, and that's not why you clicked on it. Don't care. How it's coming through here is that your person is seeing it, that you might have been so disappointed in waiting around or things to change that now it's like you're no longer interested in the same thing no more, It's like all it's led is to disappointment. All it's led is to non-manifestation. All it's led is to me feeling like lack here, depressed, not seeing any value here. I wasn't creating anything. I wasn't manifesting anything, and giving of myself 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 and giving of myself, and then reacting to being disappointed and being upset and being let down. And on and on and on and on. This was going on. And so the only thing I can do is pull away. The only thing I can do is focus on self. The only thing I can do here is like be honest with the truth of how this connection actually is, so that I can focus on making the changes that I need to in my own world and accepting certain parts of myself. So I'm not just overly giving and compensating here in a dead-end situation. And so this is learning about boundaries and self-worth and this sort of thing. But there's an authentic self here that's being connected to, like I said. And so there's a period of shedding the old, releasing what doesn't work, transformation. Okay. So for signs, we have Virgo, Cancer, Aries, Scorpio, Yeah, Scorpio's coming through quite strong. Taurus, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Libra. So let's see what the tarot then, like for pile 4, and I'm going to continue doing it the way I was asking. For pile 4 and how they're seeing the person on their mind in regards to their biggest challenge. What are they seeing as pile 4's biggest challenge? From pile 4's perspective. What are they seeing as pile 4's person's biggest challenge from their perspective, Spirit? Please help me to channel this in a way that pile 4 will understand. And it definitely could be how you're seeing yourself, you know, from your high self or your understanding, or like I said, from your person's perspective. Or this could definitely be how you're seeing your person. Take it or leave it, however you see it. Okay, so star, Aquarius energy, healing. 2 wands, crossroads, decisions, 6 swords, moving from difficult situations, 5 pentacles in reverse, coming out of the cold, coming out of the lack mindset. The Mother of Wands, here's this feeling not seen, not appreciated. Okay, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius in reverse with the Queen of Wands. And then we have the Son of Cups, which is the Knight of Cups. 4 Wands, which is the union of self. Okay, masculine, feminine. 4 Wands is my 1111 card, which could signify twin flames. And here we have the 8 Cups in reverse. What's under this star? This is the Father of Swords. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Heavy Aquarius energy. Okay, beautiful angels. I do feel it's coming from your person's point of view, and that's how I'm going to read it, okay? But it doesn't matter what I think, but this is kind of how it feels for a lot of you guys, and it could be different for all of you guys. Some of you guys, it's high self, and some of you guys, it could, small percent, be how you're seeing your person, but I doubt it. Okay, so your person, pile 4, is actually more invested in a future here with you than you're probably seeing, but your person is right up in their mind. Okay, and what they're seeing and thinking, like how they're seeing you, is they're seeing whatever's transpired here between you and this person as something that maybe has made you feel not appreciated, not valued, and not nurtured. I don't know however many times, but it's left you out in the cold, that you're no longer seeing this as something that you will entertain. Now, this doesn't mean that you're putting an end to this connection. It just means I will no longer entertain situations that make me feel out in the cold. I am moving forward from that, but I feel like your person's on board with this. So I feel I'm reading for a connection that has been moving slowly out of this energy. So if your person was flat out making you feel like you're rejected, I don't feel they are anymore. Now, you might not feel fully seen by them or appreciated by them, but it's definitely not where it was in the past. And I feel like this person understands that there's a big emphasis here on they're needing to be addressing emotions and a lack of emotional fulfillment when it comes to how we deal with this connection. Because if things are to move forward, if things are to sort of go in the direction, they have to be healed enough for you guys to come together to ground this thing, to build on the security. And to do this, there has to be addressing emotional sort of disappointments. And this energy of like, maybe it was difficult to walk away from this person, or difficult for you to really engage with this person when they were emotionally sort of shut, or potentially in their mind rather than expressing their emotions. Something like this that has kept you feeling, again, like without or lack or in the cold or not valued or seen. It's like you want to move on from this energy. You don't want to be stuck here. And it's like you see in front of you these 2 roads, that your person sees that you see. One wand sort of being the energy you've already experienced, the road you've already been down with this person. And the other one saying, I got to get out of this energy so that I can go towards my North Star and build a future here that is aligned with something that feels good, that isn't emotionally depleting and making me feel stuck in some way here, you know? It's not authentically aligned for me when I feel without, when I feel lack, when I feel this way. This way doesn't feel good. You've already felt the not feel goods, you know? So they understand this, and that your big challenge right now would be that you've engaged in a certain way that has kept you stuck, or that has kept things from maybe not moving. And it could be because of their own engagement as well. Maybe it takes two, you know, it hasn't just been you, but whatever this connection was doing with you and your energy, because it would just take one person to sort of break away or not accept it, and it couldn't allow this connection to progress in the unhealthy way that it might have been unfolding. And so we've experienced an unhealthy feeling here in this connection for some time, who knows how long. Maybe repeating this, maybe feeling very weighed down or stuck, maybe even getting very defensive and, like we said, reacting, needing to guard ourselves, needing to learn to trust. And all of this time, it's been through this like healing process, and your person's been maybe very cold, you know, or maybe not very clear and honest. And maybe they've come from a complete different perspective than you. And you might have not have been privy to their truth or their understanding. And so there's something like this that comes through this reading. Okay, from their perspective, or from your perspective, or whatever this is that I'm reading here, okay? Sorry for the confusing reading, but that's exactly how it's coming through, and that's how I'm going to read it. So let's take a look at the objective sort of truth then, when it comes to what is the actual challenge then. You know, like this person doesn't seem to be, whoever it is that's perceiving, whether it be you or this person, whoever's the perceiver here of this read, knows that they were involved in some capacity at creating some sort of disharmony. They know this, that it takes two, and that one person had one role and the other person had the other role. And we can't say one's more than the other, because we can only be 50% of a connection. We could be either at 0 or at 100, but we can't get past 50, because that's one person's role. The other person's the other 50%. They could be at 0 or at 100, but they can't do more than 50% of that connection, because it takes two. Okay, so someone could completely be at 0 and shit the bed, but that doesn't mean that they're 100% to blame for the connection. It's 50-50. Okay, so let's take a look at the reality here. What's the actual challenge? What's the actual obstacle for Pile 4's person then? What's the truth? Pile 4 is not understanding or seeing, or a little bit deeper into the reality here that might go unseen or misunderstood by Pile 4. Thank you, Spirit, for this message. I do feel there's one more. Pile 4 and the truth in regards to the person that they came here about and their block. Take the ones that revealed themselves. Just self-listening and helplessness. I do feel there is one more, because there was lots that sort of wanted to barf out, but there it is. Being responsible. Okay. Wow. Let's move these, because I'm going to need these soon. Pile number 4, when it comes to the person that came here about, what is the biggest challenge? What is the biggest challenge here in this connection when it comes to the person that they came here about? What is this one? What's that? So I need this one. Okay. Pile 4's person on their mind. What is the truth regarding this person's challenge? Rumination. Okay, let's read what we see here. So we see rumination, 81, 9 and 6, disintegration, stress level, provocative, anxiety, fear, doubt, inaction, loss of self-trust. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. We have being responsible. Oh my goodness. And my drink. Frog in my throat. Okay. Purification path, ego level 54. Being responsible. Taking immediate action. Realizing your dreams. That's that star energy. Accepting losses. Managing conflicts. Welcoming emotions. Reactions was in the blind spot. And we had the Knight of Cups in reverse. Are we suppressing how we feel here? Welcoming emotions, taking a clear position. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Lots of solar plexus. 80, dark night of the soul. Stress level, helplessness. Feeling of loneliness, loss of control, vulnerability, dark thoughts, return to reality. Physical exhaustion. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Number 8, so I'm getting 9 swords energy. And 11, inner call, ego level. Self-listening, receiving versus giving. Self-awareness, autonomy, self-compassion, a valorization of self. Relationship healing. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. 2 and 11. 54, sin, ego level, inaction. Slowness, languor, inertia, laziness, indolence, and procrastination. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Fascinating. Okay, 87, number 6, happy event, growth level, declaration of love, opening one's heart, feelings revealed, romantic message, love words, expressing love, unveiling one's love. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. Wowzers. And 79, difficult event, stress level, boredom, dissatisfaction, flatness, routine, dull, monotony, disinterest. Type 7, enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Number 7. And then we have temporality with 61, or number 7 again. 77 is a master number. Trust of fall that arises from deep wisdom. Okay. And trust of life and trust of self. And we have 99, which is also another master number, being the change you wish to see and helping humanity release what no longer serves. Okay, we also have 66. So that's service in which one pours from an overflowing cup, not martyrdom, which seemed to be the first round, what we were getting a lot of that martyrdom sort of energy. Okay, and then we have another 7. So 777, you'll be seeing triple sevens. Sevens are all about faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding, spirituality, intellect, personal growth, solitude. Okay, it says rationalization, logical justice, explanation, reasoning, idolization, sublimation, and intellectualization. Type 7, the enthusiast thinking center between pleasure and pain. Defense mechanism with the green, which is the heart chakra. So this is King of Swords energy that we saw coming through your tarot. This is an interesting pile. Give me a second here, although the messaging is very clear. Very similar energy from this. Sorry. Okay. Pile number 4, I don't think you're expecting this. Maybe you are if you're highly intuitive, okay? You could have definitely been seeing, because knowing the angle you're coming from, because there was a lot of self-awareness there, coming into the truest version of self. Maybe you were carrying a lot of the blame and burdens, okay? And there's nothing really to blame when it comes to connection. But there's a deeper layer going on over here. And if that was your understanding of yourself, you know, like I said, you might be carrying that big burden. And it could be that your person is seeing you as somebody here who was trying to keep the peace or trying to do whatever it was that I was reading in that first layer. And so in this layer here, this person is coming through as understanding that they had to challenge themselves. The objective truth, and this could be definitely spirit, and I don't mean to make it so confusing, but this is exactly how it's coming through, you guys. Spirit coming through with this messaging that's very clear. This person, whoever you're dealing with, the opposite person from the person who was giving and giving and giving. This person wasn't expressing themselves. This person was held back. This person was not welcoming their emotions, and they were creating all sorts of challenge. This is the big challenge. This is the truth. The truth is the other person, the other 50%, okay, has been asleep at the wheel and feeling like it might be difficult for them to be vulnerable. It might be difficult for them to let go of control, and difficult for them to express, and difficult for them to do all of this stuff because there might have been a lot of reasons why they felt they couldn't, shouldn't, or were too fearful to do this. And now this person is had some form of awakening here. It could be a dark night of the soul. It could be falling of the veil. It could be that this person sees maybe you got, I don't know, like tired of the situation, or that you will be bored of them, or that there's something about their stagnancy, that their way of acting has been like this too long. It's not going anywhere. It's too slow. It's too stuck. It's too boring. It's too much of the way, whatever it was. And it created you not trusting this process, this person, this relationship, this connection, where it's going. It's like, I don't want anything to do with this because it's boring, or it's not interesting, or it didn't give me anything. It's not fulfilling. And here I am. Here I am, wherever you're at, maybe doing motions, maybe completely disconnected. And that whatever you experienced here was much needed in order for there to be a shift and an integration here of lessons learned and success. The universe was working its magic, no matter how difficult or how rejected we might have felt, or how bored we might have felt. Because again, reality isn't sitting on ego's timing. And so the ego might have wanted quickness. The ego might have wanted to be approved. And the ego wants a whole bunch of things. But if we were to get what the ego wanted, there would have been falling short. There would have been an incompletion of lessons learned. And what's this lesson learned? I feel like your person was needing to learn a lot of lessons here too, which is all about opening up one's heart, expressing oneself fully, being able to receive love and give love in a balanced way, and not just sort of be open to taking. And you learning the hard way, I feel, how to receive as well, and not just be like there as a, I was going to say punching bag, this like giving, because this is how I feel. And like standing up for yourself through self-compassion, like really like healing the wound that made you feel like you had to put yourself behind someone else's happiness, or keep the peace, or stay quiet, something like this. Like there's an authentic part of you that was being born, wanting to come forward, for you to see it and not ignore it, not suppress it, not tell it to be quiet, not try to convince it that it's wrong or bad or guilty because it needs or wants love or something like this. Because I feel there was a lot of settling. There was a lot of feeling rejected. There was a lot of giving and not a whole lot of receiving. And so this painful process that I feel like was very slow, feeling very stuck, is waking you up to something. And Spirit saying, if you're still feeling like this, know that it is temporary. You're not seeing it, and so you're getting very discouraged. You could be completely thinking, this is it. This is what this connection's about. It's just boring, or it's just making me feel like I'm not going to receive anything really. And I guess this is how it is. And it's like, no, that's what you're experiencing. That's what you've experienced. And up until now, it has been. And that is true. But it's been for a very good purpose. And it's twofold, because I feel like your person has a lot of skin in the game here, that your person is coming into awareness, and that they will be coming forward with a revelation of truth, how they feel. There's a truth here, and I think you intuitively knew, or else why would we be in this situation like this? Expressing their love, like revealing the truth of how they feel, and not battling themselves, like, I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to give up this control of mine. I don't want to appear this way, or feel a certain way. And so I'll just remain hidden with a secret of how I feel and not let pile number 4 know. Because again, I feel this is your energy. And so this person can only sort of come forward balanced when you're balanced in an energy here where you're not overgiving. Both you guys are learning about unconditional love. Both you guys are opening your heart space. And we can only really love another from an unconditional place when we stand up for ourselves and truly love ourselves enough to say, this is the most loving thing I can do in this moment for myself. So therefore, it's the most loving thing I could do in this connection. If I keep giving out of it, like some martyrdom here, some need for some form of a fulfillment here that has nothing to do with this connection and all about me and my wound, needing to be seen in a certain way or control something here rather than listening to the self here that needs healing. And so I think as you accept what is in this connection, that it's been disappointing, that this person's been withholding or removed or just how they've been, and accept it, not resist it, not be angry about it, accept that this person has had big challenges, I feel here, in communicating and expressing, and still knowing that you're still worthy of having a dream of a loving relationship. Okay, and maybe you wanted it really badly to be this person, and it's like, well, then that dream's crushed. But it's like you can still hang on to your dream of having love come to you in the same manner that you give it. It's still there for you. Don't give up on that, because Spirit's saying that's the true healing when we come on the other side of it and say, love is there for me. Love has always been there. This person might be challenged. This situation and this timing might have been completely off. But this reality, I see it and I accept it as it is. And I'm not giving up on my dreams. And I'm able to manage my emotions and manage how I feel and work my way through this. And I'm able to say, I've made choices here, maybe out of pain, maybe out of trying to keep peace, maybe out of not really knowing why I was making these decisions. Maybe I was dressing this up as a need to be this way in order to align with a truth. But the truth of the matter is that my voice is also needing to be expressed, that my love to come towards me needs to also be experienced. And so I can't pretend that that's not a thing. And so there's this voice that takes a clear position, a voice that speaks a truthness. And when the authentic self speaks the truthness, I think the other authentic self of the other person does as well. And that's what Spirit's talking about, is like this mirrored truthness that comes through. And I feel like maybe your person has really been trying to rationalize and justify logically for a long time what would be the right thing, and stuck there in the mind. Because as we know, the feelings and the emotions and the heart has nothing to do with the logic and the mind. We can't rationalize this. When we feel love, it comes. We don't choose mentally who we want to love. It experiences through a feeling. There is no real logical justification of it. And so we could sit there trying to justify till the cows come home, you know? And so I feel like your person was trying to hang on to control, trying to hang on to the upper hand, trying to do all this. And it's like temporarily, it might have worked for some time, but it doesn't work in the long term. In the long term, the truth is coming out. And the truth is both sides are being called to step up to the plate and deal with the authenticity that is the truth of how they feel, what they want, express themselves, stand behind it, not feel vulnerable for speaking their truths. And if they're feeling lonely, understand why that could be, because they both had a helping hand in their own selves feeling lonely. You know, I feel like one person was feeling lonely because they kept settling in a situation instead of speaking up for what they wanted. And the other person was withholding their emotions because of fear of opening one's heart. And then feeling lonely about it because they couldn't step up and be honest and vulnerable. Okay, this goes here. This goes here. Clear and concise message in regards to what's actually the challenge here, spirits, for pile number 4 and this person on their mind. What's the objective truth in regards to the challenge? We see 2 swords, and we see the Fool and the World. And the Fool or the bottom of the deck I don't read in reverse, is Aquarius. Okay. 9 Pentacles, the Death in reverse, Scorpio energy. Hangman is Pisces energy, Page of Swords, and the 8 Swords. A cycle's coming to an end. Whatever was happening, it was temporary here. There's a new beginning. Okay, and I don't feel it's just another cycle, because we'd see the Wheel of Fortune. We're seeing the world. Something's closing. There's an actual new beginning of trust here. Innocence, trust. And I feel it's been a journey of craziness here. Mostly us getting in our own way, you know, with our thoughts. Your person is really pulling through here as this King of Swords, stuck in mind, very stuck and limited. It's caused all sorts of stagnation. And so if you're not with your person, they miss you. They're thinking about you. They want to come together. There was a lot of dragging of the feet. There was a lot of withholding. This person's now seeing a greater perspective of truth. They're finally coming to understand this. It's the beginning, early stages. Do they know it all? No. But they're finally seeing it from a different perspective and open to seeing it from a new, fresh way, which allows their old way to close out, their stagnancy, their indecision, their mind stories, and whatever is holding them back. This person could have certainly been hung up on their independence and not letting anyone in, and this material sort of world that they built, and anything that has to do with emotions is not for me, or is too scary, or is just like too vulnerable. So I withhold and I don't express, because the material world is real, says the King of Swords. Did I say King of Pentacles? King of Swords, okay? And this King of Swords energy really comes through as, if I don't see it, then it's sort of, you know, something else that's woo-woo, or that puts me in a vulnerable spot, and it's emotions and all of that, and I don't do that. I don't do that, you know? So this is the thing that was being withheld or being dragged out. The release. The universe was working with this person. Whoever is now, I'm tapped into the other person. This is the biggest challenge. One person here, the person who was withholding, was needing to release. This whole connection was needing to transform. There were old versions of self that were still being engaged here. And until we understand and see and are open to seeing it differently, we keep repeating the same things. I think we can't repeat the same thing anymore, because there's been too much pain, or there's been too much stuckness that's now resulted in feeling not good, and resulted in what it resulted in. Pain, sadness, maybe who knows what. Maybe a great truth just being revealed now. And this truth is something we have to accept, because we can't not see it anymore. We've rose above to see this truth or this understanding that we can't unsee. And it's through our own limiting thoughts that we're seeing through, our own stagnation that we're seeing through. The way we shoot ourselves in the foot by not expressing or not saying or not standing up for ourselves. And this goes for both sides here. Mother of Wands in reverse. So someone was not appreciated and seen, and it's the mask falling, the egoic mask. What I tell myself of how I have to be, the mask I have to wear to keep the peace or to look a certain way, it falls. We drop our defenses here, because I feel like there was a very guarded energy. Okay, that's coming to an end. And so let's just wrap this up with like a final message then, Spirit. Why is it that pile 4 is seeing this? Because I do feel this is about your connection, and I don't know necessarily what perspective and what all that's coming from. But this back end is supposed to be the objective truth, and it is talking about the person who might have been emotionally blocked here when it comes to expressing one's love. This being the thing that's being seen through, this being the biggest challenge that's been creating the stagnancy, and the other person may be feeling, you know, like they can't, I don't know, move past that. Spirit, what does pile 4 need to know as we close this out? Clear and concise message. Thank you so much for this message at this time. We have 3 of Wands in reverse. Things are stuck. The 5 of Wands in reverse. So we had lots of conflict due to that mindset with the Hangman in reverse. Pisces energy. Why is this 3 Wands in reverse, Spirit? What's going on here? 7 Pentacles. Yeah, look at this long stuck energy that's been here. The Sun in reverse. 10 Swords and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And here we have the Two of Wands. Under that, we have the Four of Cups in reverse. So something is coming to an end, has come to an end. The only way we can have new beginnings is when things come to an end. It's been painful, I feel. And the pain here is the length of time I feel that we've had to endure. A lot of endings potentially even, or a lot of different aspects of this connection or of self that had to fall away and die. That's been very, very painful. One of it is somebody, I was going to flip this over, I don't know. Somebody might have not known how to deal with conflict and feeling really, really, really mentally conflicted here, that they were frozen. It was providing stagnancy and stuckness. Okay, there was a long time coming for them to see the light. They weren't understanding or seeing. And this is what was taking so long. This is why Spirit was saying the investment here was going towards something. We weren't seeing the fruit because the light wasn't seen. It wasn't understood. We're still stuck in our way. And we're focused on what didn't matter, the rejection, the disappointments. Okay, this was keeping things very, very stuck. And we were having to learn certain patterns and understand certain things here that the universe wanted us to know. And the universe had the wheel. The universe is saying it's not time to move forward yet until we close the cycle with the world by fully coming to an understanding and seeing clearly, or having a certain level of enlightenment and consciousness and shedding of ego where we're not getting in our own way, so that this pathway becomes available to us. But the pathway can only come available to us when the universe says it's time to go. When's it time to go? You can only have a beginning when you close out certain things that are no longer going to serve you. Spirit knows when you're doing certain things, beliefs, engagements in certain way that don't allow you to progress, move, expand, healthy direction of growth and movement, then the universe will say, stay here, figure this out. Invest wherever you can here so that we can come to understand this. You have a stuck way of seeing or engaging that is Spirit saying must be seen, must be understood. Now I say you, I don't know, both of you guys, it could be mirrored. Something had to come to an end. Something wasn't being revealed and seen. And I feel like you're finally going to understand or see the truth. Okay, because the divine had to work its magic. The divine was keeping things under this sort of energy until both sides were learning their lesson, until both sides put whatever they were needing to an end. Spirit didn't want there to be like another conflicting situation where it's like, what do we learn if both of us are sort of on two different pages and don't learn anything? We don't grow, we don't expand, we don't move, we don't deal with what we need to. Spirit's saying, let's heal this. Let's heal this so that we can work with relationships here that aren't challenging in a way that's going to provide more challenge down the road. And so we got to overcome this big challenge, as painful as it might be, as long as it might take, as many times as maybe we've had to go through the same sort of lessons or understandings, feeling very stuck and maybe even cursing the universe, like why, and the universe keeps saying, because we keep seeing it in the same way. We keep dealing with relationship in the same way. We keep handling our conflicts in the same way. We could be trying to peacekeep, trying to avoid conflict, trying to do certain things and thinking that that's the only way. That's the only way I've ever been or have always been. And it's like, well, no, there's other ways. You gotta see it, gotta understand it. Because all it's doing is creating disappointments, making us feel rejected by us engaging in the same way when we're not. Now it's your other person, because it's like, if we're not expressing our emotions, then we feel rejected. At the end of the day, it's like this pathway becomes closed because the other person's just going to become bored and say, well, you're not honest. You're not expressing. Why would I stay here? Why would things move? I'm just not even going to fight for this anymore. I'm just not even going to try. I'm just going to put an end to this relationship because you're not fulfilling. It's like I'm giving, and there's no fruit. It's boring me. I don't see anything positive here. I'm not seeing the light. It's been too long. And so as you go in this energy, the other person's like, ooh, time to wake up. Time to see the error of my ways. Okay, that's how we work in conjunction with partnership, because we don't see our own shadow, our own faults until it slaps us upside the head with disappointments and reality and loss. And it's like sometimes you really got to lose out through someone else's disappointment for it to become a reality. Now, whether it's too late or not, I don't know, but I don't think so, because I feel it's destined with the Wheel of Fortune, and I feel there's a new beginning, and I feel someone's coming out to express themselves for the first time in a way that they haven't in the past. Okay, it might be slow though with that 7 Pentacles, but there's progress, and there's healing, and there's direction, and there's movement where things are really stuck and stagnant. Okay, so beautiful angel, this is what I see. Beautiful love reading for you guys. I love you very much, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye.